What is going on, folks? I'm back. I'm back in my room, back from vacation, ready to sit with the boys and not sit in a hotel room where my audio was probably shit. And we're here to talk some football, NFL. Week 3 is in the books. We're gonna break it down for you folks. We are also gonna do a deep dive on each game for week 4 and who we think is gonna win and start taking this team to the next level. With week 4, I think we're finally starting to see who's real and who's not. So, towards the end of the show, both myself, Sturm, and Bob, we're all going to give off 2 teams that we think are just dead on arrival. No playoffs, probably looking at a really decent draft pick because I've got 2. I'm sure the boys do. Speaking of the boys, Sturm, Bob, how are we doing?
Good, brother.
Doing
Good.
great, Logan. Doing great. Thanks for asking.
Hell
Good.
yeah.
Good to have you back, my man.
It is. It's good to be back. Went back to work. So, back to real
Not
life.
good. Not gonna lie, a little irritated over the Raiders Steelers, but we'll get to that.
And I'm just
If
glad I
I
don't have
were
to
you,
talk as much.
after watching that game, I'd be irritated too.
And now,
I had something to be irritated. I mean, we won the game, but there was one. We'll get to it, but there was one specific play in that call that made me want to kick a ref in the nuts.
I finally
So,
found out who Matt Canada was. They said his name just
Oh
like
yeah,
you
they
about 17
showed it
times throughout
oh
the.
my
multiple
God, dude, they
times.
said his like every. I'm just going, wow, like put homeboy in the spotlight. Damn.
And I gave you shit
Like
for saying his name so many times.
they put him on blast that whole fucking game, dude. That was rough. Like, that man is not sitting I mean, Tomlin's Tomlin. I mean, I don't think he's gonna lie, but if I was running that show, that man's job would, I mean, he's on thin ice. He's been on thin ice with me for well over longer than this season and last season. But let's get into it. We had a lot of games that happened. First off, all right, let's hear it. Who's got the bragging rights this week? Talk your shit, say your piece.
Sturmboch does. I was
Right.
12-4, and honestly, aside from some head scratching upsets, I would have been 15-1. The only loss being the Raiders game, which fucking pisses me off, but that's is what it is. Yeah, I would have been 15-1 except for some head scratching upsets. But yeah, I got bragging rights this week, boys.
Yep, he does. He's got it. He wears the crown. So week 1, Sturm got it. I got it week 2. Sturm's got it again. Like Bob, you're in 4th place, dude. You're even like behind the wife on picks.
Well, I think my predictions as Bostradamus, that's next year. I'm thinking of all the next year's picks, and I got them confused.
Nostradamus.
So I'm 1 year behind. Or ahead, I don't know.
Bonstradamus. Oh shit. There we go. Yeah, there were definitely some upsets. So let's start off at the top of the slate. We had San Francisco at New York Giants. Obviously, San Fran took care of business, 30-12. What did you guys see in that game?
There's nothing surprising out of this game. I mean, San Francisco just kind of ground them out, beat them
Yeah.
down. Nothing exactly what we expected. They dominated, they controlled. Giants never had a chance or anything. San Francisco is that good. 30-12. I wasn't surprised at all.
Nope. What about you, Bob?
Well, that last year's New York Giants was a fluke. They're the same team they always were before then. Sorry, Avant. But they were pretty bad. It was
The
cool.
Giants are a miracle comeback away from being 0-3. They really should be 0-3 this year, which is
I actually
crazy.
should. To be honest, yeah, that's fair.
And it was cool to see Debo get some a good game. It's been a while since he's had one. And Brock Purdy is fucking good, man. He is. Everyone keeps saying, we'll see, we'll see. No, he put up 310, 2 touchdowns.
Most blitz team in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
That team, percentage-wise, is seeing the most pressure out of any team in the NFL.
So he's the real deal. I think I don't really care about the team itself, but if you're a San Fran team, you should be very happy. He's making
Yeah,
Joe
your
Burrow
Mr.
and others
Irrelevant
look bad.
quarterback is surrounded by fucking Hall of Famers. Of course you're comfortable.
Yeah. He looks
Holy
pretty good
shit.
to me.
Well, it raises a question about that team because, is it the system or is it the quarterback? I would say it's the system, but then you got Trey Lance who couldn't do shit in that system. So I think it's, I'm not going to poo-poo the quarterback.
And that's another thing. And we've seen this before with a lot of other college quarterbacks. Their game does not, in some instances, their game does not translate to the NFL very well. I mean, go down the list. Tim Tebow didn't translate very well. Johnny Manziel, dumpster fire. Ryan Leaf, dumpster fire times 2. I mean, you just
Jamarcus
look at
Russell, remember that? He's the biggest bust.
Oh,
Oh wait, you won't forget
Christ.
about that, would you?
Oh man, that was awful. He could throw the ball. He could be on his knees at the 50-yard line and throw the ball out of the end zone. That's the only thing he had going for him. He
had an arm.
Cannon for an arm.
Yeah. Matt Leinart out of USC.
What about Vince Young? Wouldn't you call him a
he beat Matt Leinart in the championship game, and neither quarterback did shit in the NFL.
Yep.
I think Vince Young went to Tennessee and he just floundered. It was
right.
bad.
Yeah.
San Fran Giants. I saw Daniel Jones there's already been some memes of it. I don't know if you've seen them of him just looking absolutely petrified of Nick Bosa and the blitz. And that one play, I swear to God, that was a safety. I think it was like the first quarter, Nick Bosa sacked Daniel Jones, and he went down in the fucking end zone. I don't know what the refs were looking at. But no, we got what we expected. In fact, all of us picked San Fran. So next game, we had Cleveland at Tennessee. Cleveland 27, Tennessee 3. I will quickly just start this one off. Starm and Bob, you guys picked Cleveland. I picked Tennessee. I wasn't buying Deshaun Watson. I'm still not buying Deshaun Watson, and his numbers haven't convinced me otherwise. I mean, offensively, their run game is not as potent, but it didn't do bad. But god damn, that defense is legit, because I think they held Tennessee overall to 97 yards in 4 quarters.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think the entire team has allowed 3 touchdowns, and 2 of them are offensive, a pick 6 and a fumble return. So that defense has only allowed 1 touchdown all year.
One of the pick 6s is against the Steelers.
Was it? Yeah, I think I remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, he stepped it up a little bit. I think he's getting warmed up back into things. So he's not the greatest, but I think you just need a competent quarterback, and he's doing what needs to be done there. And that defense is scary. Also, that Jerome Ford, man, he's looking pretty good. He's coming out of nowhere and helping out. I'm not saying he has like amazing numbers that game, but he did what he needed to do and got a touchdown. But yeah, what's up with Tennessee, man? Just same old Tennessee. Just they can beat any team in the league, but yeah, they always don't. Pretty much.
I mean,
Tannehill threw.
Yeah, he threw for 104 yards. That's it. 50% passing. Derrick Henry ran for 20, and you're not going to win any games when those are your leaders.
And this was a trend this week. I mean, even teams that you expected to do good were absolutely just floundered. So it's interesting. But
I'm just shocked after losing Nick Chubb. I thought, and Deshaun Watson's play just not being very stellar, that defense stepped up, and I have never seen a Mike Vrabel squad play this badly. I mean, I expected more out of Tennessee coming into this season. I knew there was a question mark at quarterback, but you still got Derrick Henry. I mean, the man is a runaway cement truck, but he was neutralized. That defense just swarmed the shit out of Tennessee, and you two got the correct pick on that one. And the Memphis, Tennessee.
I mean, Tannehill's regressed, right? What do you have? 3 picks the week before.
Yeah,
he has not played well. And when you have a quarterback playing that way, it's just like Justin Fields. It's just like any of these quarterbacks who are just playing terribly. Their teams are gonna suck. And when you've got the defense the Browns have, I mean, Jerome Ford, he had 2 touchdowns, and Deshaun Watson threw for almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks. At home, they're going to, I thought Cleveland's defense, they were just going to be too powerful for a team that has no quarterback. And that was right, 27-3.
All right, so that covers that game. Next, we had Buffalo at Washington. Let's just call it what it is, just a good old-fashioned Buffalo ass whooping.
37-0. They had to kick a field goal to avoid the shutout at like the last minute.
Buffalo's defense had 4 picks and 7 sacks.
Yeah.
That's just dirty.
But what's up with Josh Allen? He had 1 touchdown and an interception. Like, he has been playing horrible. 2 years ago, he was second behind Mahomes. So what's the deal with him, guys?
You know what I do like that Buffalo's doing? I understand his numbers may be down a little bit, but he's rushing a lot less, not putting himself in harm's way as often as he was, not being careless with the football. Yeah, he threw a pick, but I think he's playing more reserved, allowing his wideouts to get their breaks and make sure his timing is good. He's been quite successful in passes, out in the flat. Yeah, they're not airing it out a lot because, Diggs is getting most of the attention and not too many other people have stepped up. Their tight end isn't bad, but if their defense plays the way it has been and Josh Allen keeps making the right decisions, running less, only running when he has to, because before Josh Allen would just take the fuck off and you're like, dude, what are you doing? You had like 2 people open. So I think Buffalo's doing the right thing.
Yeah, he had 46 yards rushing still, so that's still quite a bit for
he had a touchdown too. Yeah, it just seems to me this was a game that the Commanders never even challenged them, and Josh Allen didn't have to do anything except for just kind of keep the train moving, and that's what they did, and boom, 37-0 before the Commanders even touched the scoreboard. So with less than a minute left.
Once again, this is just one of many that turned out as a huge blowout. So
yeah.
We all picked Buffalo for that one, so no shame with that. And then we have Detroit at Atlanta. Detroit puts up 20. Atlanta only picks 6, only gets 6 points. So I didn't get to see too much of this game. I saw some highlights, some clips. I actually had to look in the box score and kind of look at the numbers to see what happened. But what did you guys see?
They seem to kind of be even, but of course, Jared Goff's a more experienced quarterback. And I think that's just what made the difference. Because the matchup was sort of even, but just, the Lions kind of just wore them down, and Atlanta is young. You could just kind of tell that. The Lions are more experienced, and you could kind of tell that in this game.
Yeah, I thought the Falcons would show up a little bit better than just 6 points in this game, but they were on the road, and Detroit's just one of those tough, gritty teams, so I'm not surprised. They sacked Ritter 7 times. That's pretty good defense right there.
Detroit pass rush picked up their game. Yeah. They only had 2 sacks in the first 2 games.
Yeah. Yep. 7's a big number. And I'm not surprised Detroit won. I guess, like I said, I'm surprised Atlanta didn't do a little better than 6 points. But again, when you got one of these gritty, tough teams, that doesn't surprise me too much, I guess, at the end of the day.
And Detroit has really, even last season and this season, they've shown some grit. They're 2-1. They're playing decent. So.
And they could be 3-0. Like, they lost in overtime to the Seahawks last week, so they could have won that game. They could easily be 3-0.
So we've got New England at the Jets. New England 15, New York Jets 10.
Oh.
What a snooze fest that was.
Yeah. I've never wanted to take a nap. I think the last sporting event I somewhat watched, and I did fall asleep, was the Masters.
Real quick, Bad Panda, thank you for the follow, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
I think the most remarkable thing about this game is Zach Wilson. Again, we were talking about Ryan Tannehill, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. They're all in the same boat. None of them can play quarterback to save their lives. And, all of the preseason hype for the Jets, and obviously Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. And now the wheels are coming off. You got Joe Namath badmouthing Zach Wilson. You got all these Mike Greenberg on ESPN. Everyone's saying Wilson's got to go.
That Zach Wilson couldn't play dead in a horror movie.
So the drama,
you can't burn a player any more than that.
Yeah. The drama going on in this team, and they just signed Trevor Siemian today, I think. But what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Maybe be a little better than Zach Wilson. So I don't know. Like what? I guess Kaepernick called him up and said he's ready to play. So this could be this is a show at least. At least this is a show. This is interesting.
And Ezekiel Elliott got 80 yards, so that should tell you how terrible it. I mean, even the defense, I think, is probably giving up at this point.
Well, in fairness to that statement, I think Bill Belichick is smart enough to find a spot for Ezekiel Elliott, and he was quite effective. He can still bang it through the tackles a little bit. Obviously, he's not nearly as effective as he was in his Dallas years. But yeah, what the fuck's their quarterback's name? Mac Jones.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
he hits more targets nut tapping the opposing players than he does actual touchdowns. You guys hear about that story?
No.
I think with Sauce Gardner, he nut tapped him, and they're actually looking at the NFL's fining him for it.
What do you mean nut tapping him? Like
hit him
grab
in the
his
balls?
nuts?
No, he kind of gave there's a video of it. He kind of
he walked by him and smacked his nuts.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
What a nut smacker!
I hadn't heard that.
It was just so weird and so unnecessary. But back to the game. Yeah, Mac Jones he's not the answer in New England. He's not going to be. Tom Brady is what made that team really good, and he's not there. And so far, New England's draft the past 2 seasons hasn't proven to me that they're really going to improve if they stay with Mac Jones. I don't see it. And as for the Jets, I mean, good fucking luck. I mean, their coach was on today once again defending Zach Wilson, and I mean, I feel like we're reaching the indefensible.
Well,
I don't know how much more. And that's the thing. You already knew the second Aaron Rodgers went down, you knew what this was going to turn into. We've seen this show before out of Zach Wilson. We know what he is. We know what he isn't.
Vikings are officially 0-3. Jets, should they make a trade for Kirk Cousins?
No, that's ridiculous.
And if you're the Vikings, what do you ask for in return? I mean, how many first-round draft picks do you want?
For a quarterback that's not playing very well on an 0-3 team.
He's playing well. No,
I think
he's
doing
playing
good.
quite well.
Yeah, I think it's not the quarterback's fault. I would.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
If I was the Jets, I would be. I'd trade a 1 for him because they got urgency, so they need to trade something for him.
And you got the Jets over the barrel. So the question is, like, how much can you can probably get at least a first rounder for whoever, like a guy like Kirk Cousins.
You would get like a second, and a fourth.
You don't think they'd give up a first?
No.
And that team is primed before a run.
Not for Kirk Cousins. He doesn't know the playbook. What do you do? Show up, suit him up, throw him out there in the field? No. No,
yes, you do. You have Zach fucking Wilson as your quarterback. You do that.
Kirk Cousins is not worth. If I was the head of a GM of an organization, I would not give up a first
I'd be calling up Brett Favre. Hey, man, can you just come in for like 6 games? Remember when Brett Favre was going to come back for like 10 years afterwards, every year?
Didn't Carson Wentz also call up? I mean, it sounds like every quarterback is out of work.
There's options out there. They don't. There's free agents out there that would be better than what they have right now.
Gentlemen,
I have seen someone look so fucking lost on a football field than Zach Wilson.
I have 2 words for you guys. Jeff George. That guy is out there. He's ready to go, man. He's ready to buckle up the chin strap.
George had a fucking cannon for an arm. I've never seen someone have a ball move faster downfield than when he threw it. Holy shit.
Whenever I think of Jeff George, I think of that scene from Napoleon Dynamite with Uncle, was it Rico?
Rico, yeah.
He's in his van, he's throwing the ball and he's filming himself. That's how I envision Jeff George these days. Like, he's just ready for his chance for someone to call him up, even though he's like 55.
Who the fuck is Jeff George? Wasn't he a coach?
No. He was a really highly touted quarterback out of college, and he was a good player, but he had so many like locker room issues. Like he didn't get along with coaches, didn't get along with players. He was
Who
just
did he play for?
kind of an asshole.
The
He was
Raiders.
drafted by the Colts. He played for everybody. He probably played for 6 or 7 teams.
Huh.
Because he would just go round and round. And he had so much arm talent that everyone wanted to give him a chance, and he'd get there and they're like, no, he's not the answer.
Oh, I'm thinking of Jeff Fisher.
George.
Jeff Fisher was who I was thinking of.
Jeff Fisher was a coach. He was Tennessee for a long time.
And
And Jeff George had a sweet, sweet mullet too. He had this sweet mullet.
Jeff George did have a mullet. I know we're getting off topic, but the one other quarterback I always liked back in the day was Jake Plummer.
Oh yeah, Jake the Snake.
God, you liked him?
Yeah, I really like Jake Plummer.
Was he good?
All right, so we have Houston and Jacksonville. Houston, dude, this is one of our upsets that we didn't see coming. Houston jacked up Jacksonville 37-17. I mean, what the fuck is going on with, as Nick Wright on Fox 1 would say, the God savior of the NFL? What is going on with Trevor Lawrence?
I don't know. The Jaguars are something's wrong. They're not playing nearly as good as last year.
I mean, his stats weren't too bad. It wasn't amazing, but he only threw 1 pick. But he only completed about 2/3 of his passes. I don't know, man. I didn't really watch that one because it was on the same time as like the Chiefs or something. But I don't know, man.
Well, the Jags had 2 turnovers. They had more yards than the Texans had, but
I don't think anybody expected Houston's O-line to be this good.
Oh, the Texans had a special teams or a defensive touchdown.
Yep.
But CJ Stroud, dude, I don't know.
Right?
I don't know what his total stats are for the year, but he went for 280, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I'm pretty sure he's been having some pretty clean games. I know they haven't won any until now.
Last week he almost threw for 400, if you remember. He had an amazing game last week, even though they lost.
So he's sticking out.
CJ Stroud against Jacksonville was 20 out of 30 for 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and then some guy named Tank Dell had 145 yards and 1 touchdown. Never heard of him. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just one of those matches that...
But it turned into one of those games. I mean, you can see it by the numbers. I mean, when Trevor Lawrence is throwing the ball 40 times, they're playing from behind.
Not to mention, dude, he threw it to, like, a lot of receivers. 2, 4, 6, 8.
The kid is accurate. He can spread the ball around, but something is going on in Jacksonville. I mean, it's got to be offensive efficiency. He's not really getting pressured. I mean, Christ, Trevor Lawrence got out of there with a clean jersey. Wasn't sacked once.
So there's this new phenomenon going on that when the Chiefs just come in and spank your ass, you just start losing after that. You just go downhill. I mean, come on. The last time the Chiefs played the Bengals, what's been going on since? They lost 3 in a row.
Is that what it is, Bob?
Yeah.
Is it the curse of Kelsey and Taylor Swift?
It's the Taylor Swift phenomena, which we'll get to that later. But she must be a good luck charm.
All right, so we had go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I was just reading up on this game. So Andrew Beck, a 255-pound fullback, returned a kickoff 85 yards for a touchdown in this game. The heaviest player in NFL history to return a kickoff for a touchdown. I've never heard of Andrew Beck. He hasn't scored a touchdown since 2019. That's crazy.
So next we had the LA Chargers at the Minnesota Vikings, and let's see, who did we have for that? Bob, you picked Minnesota. Sturm and I picked the Chargers.
Yep.
So
Herbert fucking went off.
Again, there's just obviously Minnesota had to have been playing from behind. It's for quite a bit of the game. I mean, Kirk Cousins had 50 attempts, 3 touchdowns and a pick.
Have you guys heard about the call?
I did hear something about a call. What was that?
No.
So the again, I've said this before. Brandon Staley is basically the most incompetent football coach in the league right now. The Chargers have the ball with about 1:55 left. It's 4th down and 1 on their own 24-yard line. Vikings have 0 timeouts, but there's 1:55 left, and the Chargers have a 4-point lead. They go for it on 4th and 1 at their own 24-yard line.
That's the yep.
And
right.
of course, they got
coaching
stuffed.
calls in this game.
Yeah. And I mean, everybody has been talking about the call. They're lucky they lost. They still won the game because they got that pick in the end zone to seal it. But they could have easily lost that game, and it would have been.
Quarterback goes for 40 of 47 for 405 yards and 3 touchdowns. You better win that fucking game, or the press is going to have your head on a plate.
But just another one of those questionable decisions by Staley. He just every game.
And me and Sturm were talking about that game where a couple of years ago, where if the Chargers and Raiders tie, they both go to the playoffs, and they were like, you could pretty much tell at the end it was going to be a tie. And what happened?
And he calls the timeout. He called the timeout, and the Raiders were going to run out the clock. And then when he called the timeout, they ended up kicking the field goal, and they lost the game as a result. And he just did it. He did it in week 1 against the Titans, when the Titans got lined up wrong, and Derrick Henry wasn't in the play on like a 4th and 1, and he calls timeout. And next thing you know, here comes out Derrick Henry. They get the first down and seal the game. So he makes these like head scratching decisions. You're like, what is he doing?
What do we think about the news of Justin Jefferson requesting a trade? Now you want to start talking about first-round picks? Now we can start talking about first-round picks.
Is that really true, though? I haven't seen that except for Bones' meme that he sent out. I haven't seen that in any press. Is that really true?
I guess that's true.
Either.
It may not be. I don't know. I just saw it, so. And I kept seeing memes about it, so I can never tell on the internet anymore. I never know what's true.
Yeah, I was going to question that one because I'm like, I scoured 2 different sports news outlets before I came on. I'm like, man, I'm still not seeing this story.
But aren't players always asking for trades and nothing ever happens to them? But
when someone like Justin Jefferson requests a trade, beat sports writers are hopping on that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Homeboy just had 7 receptions for 149 yards and a touchdown. I mean, he's one of the better wideouts in the league.
I'd be pissed if I was him. I put up that number and we lost.
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving on down the list. So we had Green Bay at New Orleans. Green Bay squeaked it out 18-17. All I'm going to say about this game is if Derek Carr had not gone out, the outcome of this game would have been different.
Absolutely.
100%.
What's the news on his injury?
We don't really know yet.
Week to week.
Week to week.
He sprained the AC joint in his shoulder. I saw the hit. There's nothing dirty about it, but he did get hit the ground pretty hard. And after that, they couldn't. That was it. You know, Packers got the momentum, and even so, like the Packers needed to still pull a rabbit out of their ass to win that game barely, even without Derek Carr in there. So yeah, they wouldn't have won that game. The Packers look like dog shit.
Saints D. I'm not gonna lie. You've got to. Even when your quarterback goes out, man, you got to hold on. You've got to hold on to that lead.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously they should have, but
so
is what it is.
New Orleans backup is Jameis Winston. That's who I think the Jets should go for. He's not great, but he's one of the best backups by far. He can put up insane numbers. Then again, he can go the next game and throw 4 interceptions. So
I'll give him Trubisky cheap.
And Mitch Trubisky. And don't forget, the Saints missed a field goal at the very end, a makeable field goal to win the game. So they still had a chance. I mean, yeah. I mean, everything had to go perfectly for the Packers to win, and it did.
For some reason, I'm not going to lie, at halftime, and I'm checking the scores, and I picked Green Bay to win this game. I'm looking at the scores at halftime. I'm going, oh, shit.
Yeah, I picked them too, and I was like, yeah.
I picked Saints, right? I'm pretty sure.
You did.
Yep.
You did.
By 1 point. 2 points. But another thing I noticed is Jordan Love only completed 50% of his passes, which I know he's been doing pretty good. But this is one
Well,
of his
hold on,
worst
hold on.
games.
There's a tale of two halves here. The first half, Jordan Love was looking a little out of sorts and discombobulated. But you look at his numbers after halftime and the adjustments that were made. I will give that kid credit that they scored 18 unanswered points in a half, and he had 3 scoring drives put together. That's making adjustments. So I will give him credit for that.
Yeah, that Romeo Dubes is pretty good.
Dobbs?
Dobbs, yep. Doobies. And but also Chris,
Doobies.
I didn't know Chris Olave. Is he a rookie or a second year for the Saints?
And third year, right?
Third year?
I think third year. He's not a rookie.
Yeah, he's not a rookie. I don't think.
I like him too, fantasy wise. He's pretty good. But that's all I got to say about all that.
So real quick, going before we hit up the next
Second year.
game, how effective do we think the Saints are going to be without Derek Carr if he actually misses significant? Let's say he misses 2 weeks.
Oh,
They're 2
well,
and 1.
yeah. They're lucky they're in that division, right? Because no one's going to run away with the NFC South, I don't think. I mean, it's famous Jameis, right? The only member of the 30-30 club. So are you going to get 30 picks or are you going to get 30 touchdowns in 5,000 yards or 4,000 yards? He can throw the ball, but as good as anybody. He just makes terrible decisions. So which famous Jameis is going to show up?
I think they're going to do well. I think Jameis is good for 3 to 4 games. When you start asking him to do like a season-long thing, that's when he starts going downhill.
I think it really depends. Who do they play in the next couple of weeks? Let's look at the schedule. Bucks,
I've got that
Patriots,
right here.
Texans.
The Saints are playing.
I got the Bucks at home, at Patriots, at home against the Texans, at Jaguars. I mean, none of those 4 teams are world beaters, so yeah, they could win those games. So
I think they'll do well.
shit. Then they got the Colts and the Bears. So
Yeah,
they got 6 winnable games in a row.
So let's go to the game of the week. Holy shit. And without Eric Waddle. Goddamn.
Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle. Miami at Denver. Miami puts up 70. And hey, tip my cap to the Miami coach. He kneeled it out. He didn't kick the field goal.
Should he have kicked a field goal for history?
You know, I think he was showing some respect. Like, dude, 70-20. I mean,
So listen to this though. Listen to this. What's the coach's name for Miami again?
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
Okay, he was the ball boy for the Denver Broncos. He then moved up to some kind of like little position on the coaching staff or something, and then they refused to interview him for the head coaching job. So obviously he went somewhere else and moved on up like he is now. So there's a lot of stats going on about how he comes back and just put 70 on their asses. Also, wasn't the coach talking shit about him or talking shit about Tua? I think
he didn't put up 70.
The Denver coach was talking shit on Tua as well. Sean Payton.
Sean Payton was talking shit on the Jets offensive coordinator, who used to be the Broncos head coach before the season began.
Right, but he also said shit about Tua as well.
Oh, that I didn't hear.
Yeah, I don't remember about the Tua thing. I do remember Sean Payton throwing some shade at the Jets.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
Yeah. So the Dolphins did not run up the score by any stretch. I mean, the Broncos quit. Like they just quit.
They did. They quit.
They just quit. And like I think it was the third quarter when they had the backups in, and the backups kept scoring touchdowns. Like it was crazy.
It was 35. It was 35 to 35-13 at half. I think Denver was we're done.
Well, yeah, the backup scored. The backup threw it twice and scored a touchdown. Mike White did.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Devon, is it Devon A-Chain? Is that how you say his name? He had 4 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. He came out of nowhere.
18 carries, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. His longest was a 67-yard bolt.
18 carries, 200 yards. That's more than 10 yards a rush. I think they averaged more than 10 yards a play the entire game.
Hey, he had 4. Hold on. He had 4. He had 2 receiving and 2 rushing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, so,
4
I'm sorry. I was looking at the rushing. So for
Yeah.
receiving, he had
Yeah.
2. Yep. He had 4 catches for 30 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 18 carries for 203 and 2 rushing touchdowns. And even their other running back, or the other guy, Raheem
Yeah.
Moss,
Mostert.
13 carries, 82 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he had 7 catches for 60 and a touchdown.
They
So
had 10 total touchdowns, 5 receiving, 5 rushing. First time that's ever happened in a game. It's just insane.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, where Tyreek
And don't
Hill-
forget, over 700 yards of total offense. 700 yards.
and Tyreek Hill, man, has he got 150 yards in every game so far? Let me look real quick.
But I don't. I agree with you, Sturm. I don't think they run up the score. It's like they just made play, and Denver was just all right. Go ahead, run.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be an ugly situation as time goes on this year, I think. That Russell Wilson, Sean Payton situation. That
You have
team,
my opinion on Russell Wilson in Denver.
yeah, and they're stuck with the guy too. Stuck with the guy because,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
maybe after this year the contract gets better for them. I can't remember the specifics, but I know like going into this year they had no choice. He took up so much salary cap space that they were stuck. And man, the Seahawks just fleeced the Broncos on that trade. Just fleeced them, man. They just took them for a ride.
Absolutely. All right, so we've got Indianapolis went to Big Bad Baltimore, and yeah,
And Bones, you were gonna pick the mustache. You were gonna do it, but you backed off, buddy.
I know, man. I just need to go with my gut more often, not think so much.
Indianapolis puts up 22. Baltimore only managed to put up 19, and Indianapolis beat Baltimore in their house with a backup quarterback.
Yeah. Well, Minshew's the backup, but he's about as good a backup as you're gonna see. That guy's good. He's got he's got skills.
Yeah, I like him. Is he a franchise quarterback? No, but he's pretty damn good.
I mean, he did his job. 27 to 44, 227 yards and a touchdown. That's doing your job.
Yeah.
That's, their run game was, pretty damn effective. I mean, overall, I think Baltimore actually put up more yards overall, but I mean, Lamar Jackson fumbled twice. I mean, they had 4 fumbles.
And Lamar had to run in the 2 touchdowns they had. It wasn't like he threw for them. He had to
Well,
run them
Lamar
both in.
Jackson was pretty much almost all of their offense.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw for 202 and rushed for 101.
Okay, and this has always been. I don't know how to take this guy because one year he will fucking blow your mind. He will just go off on you, and another year he's just kind of and like he doesn't seem like he can throw. And some of his criticism in the beginnings were, oh, he can't throw, he can only run. Do you guys still agree with that criticism? Because he's so up and down all the time.
You know what's happening to Baltimore right now is what's been happening to Baltimore the past couple of seasons. This team cannot stay healthy.
Yeah, that's a
They
big problem.
cannot stay healthy. Higgins is out with an ACL. He didn't have Odell Beckham Jr. His biggest target was Zay Flowers. He had 8 catches, but only 48 yards. Lamar Jackson is not airing it out because he doesn't have options. I mean, he's throwing it 31 times and only managing 202 yards. And most of the rushing yards are coming from him. So once again, it's the Lamar Jackson show. So until this team gets healthy, which is what we've been saying about Baltimore for years now, they're going to go as far as Lamar Jackson takes them. And as the season wears on, he's going to get broken the fuck down. They'll make the playoffs and be an early fucking exit.
I just think he needs one really good wide receiver because what was it, Marquise Brown they used to have? He was pretty good, and that's when they were a little bit better. I didn't think that guy was amazing, but then he leaves, and then they don't seem to have much of an offense at all.
You never should have got rid of Hollywood Brown.
I'm not going to panic too much on the Ravens losing this game for a couple of reasons. One is the Colts made 4 field goals of 50-plus yards to even, get into overtime and win the game. That's never happened before in NFL history. 50-plus yard field goals are hard, and they nailed 4 of them in one game. And
Justin Tucker missing that kick, that was
yes,
shot. That was actually
and
shocking.
Tucker missed us. What was 61 yards,
Yeah, but it's
and it was
Justin
just
Tucker.
short. I know, but it's still 61. Like that's how good Justin Tucker is when you expect him to like nail a 61-yarder routinely.
In a
But
game, that
61
dude
is
automatic to win a game.
yeah, I agree. But 61 yards. I mean, come on. You can't. I mean, if he makes it, great. But you can't expect him to make like that. That's more of like you hope he makes it, but I get it if he doesn't.
I mean, I picked Baltimore to win this game, but honestly, when I saw it went to overtime, I went, you know what? The Colts are going to take this. The Colts are going to take this. And having their rookie quarterback out, who that kid is a beast, but hey, welcome to the NFL. You got your clock cleaned and got yourself concussed, so welcome. But Colts aren't laying down. They're not giving
They're
it up.
scrappy.
Yeah,
Scrappy
they are.
team for
They're
sure.
a scrappy team. They grinded one out in Baltimore in overtime, so I'll give him that. I'll give him that. All right, Bob, here we go. Kansas City at Chicago. Kansas
Yay!
City 41-10 beats the shit out of once again one of the worst teams in the league.
Okay, so I know this isn't something we gotta stay all day on. I'm not even that proud of it, but it's what they should. Usually they play these teams like down to them. It's always close or some shit. So I'm glad they just fucking came in and. But we all know why they got the win in the end, because we did it for the Swifties. That's why we really did it.
So we know. Go ahead, Bones.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say. I know that we heard that Travis Kelce jerseys have surged 400%. I'm just curious how many Taylor Swift albums you've bought over the last day or two.
Yeah,
They've been on repeat.
sure,
Man.
album sales went up 1% because Bob went shopping.
And I just want to let all you Chief fans know, if you're a Chief fan now, you're now a Swiftie as well. So
That's right.
I don't want to hear you guys complaining about it.
I've never.
Wait, did you see
happier
that?
to
Did
be
you
a
see that
Swift
clip
fan.
of him wearing that Travis Kelce wearing some ridiculous outfit, like walking around with her? He had some crazy like white and blue thing on, that matching
Nice.
jacket and jean shorts. I was like, oh my god, come on, dude. You're a
He's
football
out
player.
there, man. He was driving one hell of a nice little classic convertible out of the stadium, though, with Taylor Swift in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
But I saw from Kansas City, I saw a very efficient game. I saw a running attack. I was very impressed with how Kansas City ran the ball. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a Kansas City fan, but I want every player to stay healthy. I did go, oh shit, when I started seeing a limp out of your
I
boy.
forgot about that. Yeah. He didn't go out though.
Yeah.
And
then I'm thinking, God damn it, homeboy, this man cannot keep his ankles healthy.
No, but it wasn't his fault. Some guy fell on it and it twisted bad. When I saw that, I was like, ugh.
Well, he still played. He stayed in. It may be a little sore, but I don't think it's definitely not gonna affect his game against his next opponent. We'll get into that. Holy fuck. Yeah, again. So Sturm, what did you see out of that other than Chicago has no idea what to do with their quarterback?
As far as the ankle goes, I was watching this game. The injury happened like right before halftime. And for life of me, I can't figure out why they put him back in right before halftime. Like, keep him out at least until after the half. Like
I thought that too. Yeah, you're right.
Get a chance to like get someone to look at it before you risk your guy. I mean, they had like a 28-point lead or whatever it was at that point. I mean, there was no point in putting him out there for like the last whatever it was minute or so of the half. But nonetheless, the Bears suck. The Bears just suck. Oh my God, they're terrible. So I think the Chiefs beat a team the way they were supposed to beat a team. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not gonna give the Chiefs are a great team, obviously, but when I look at this game, I'm not gonna be like, oh, the Chiefs. The Bears they're just terrible. I don't know. They're wrong. Something's wrong. Fields. The whole team is a disaster.
Yeah, it wasn't so much what we did right, the Chiefs did right. It was more about just they suck. But a few things I want to tell you guys here. Some stats for the Chiefs. This is Mahomes' third game that he has thrown to 11 receivers in the game. Also, after this game, Patrick Mahomes is the quickest player to 25,000 yards in NFL history with 83. And like the next person was like 90 something. So he fucking smoked this guy. Also, with this win, Andy Reid is now number 4 in the all-time wins, and I think he went past Don Shula, which is a big deal. That means this man is
No,
top.
Don Shula's number 1. He didn't
Oh, is
pass
it Don Shula? I don't remember who it was, but it was some big name, some legendary guy.
Yeah.
And also, I was fighting with CS Wins this offseason about my cornerbacks, and Trent McDuffie is the number 1 cornerback through 3 weeks. I know it's only 3 weeks, but in the league, according to PFF. So, also,
Nice stat, Bob. Nice stat.
yeah, and
Good stat.
one more, and our running backs haven't done good, and this is a shitty team. But we had 3 running backs with a touchdown, including Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who isn't that great. So
You had 2 running backs for touchdowns.
well, I didn't have 3.
No,
you
they had 3. They had Pacheco, Edwards-Helaire, and McKinnon. And McKinnon got one on the ground and in the air.
Oh, I'm looking
on.
at ESPN box score, and I'm only seeing 2 rushing TDs.
Oh, maybe
No,
one was
Edwards
a
Helaire?
receiving. Maybe that one was a receiving.
Oh, McKinnon got 2 receiving touchdowns. I thought one
okay,
was a rushing.
that's why I thought. Well, he's a running back.
But still, you guys had a $153 running. But again, I'm not.
It's a shitty team.
You know,
so.
I mean, Bob. We all know Bob. What Bob's gonna do when it comes to the Chiefs. But
I just wanted to throw them facts out there. That's all I really have else to say about it.
It's the fucking Bears. Don't Bears. Don't Bears. All right, moving on. A big upset for all 4 of us. All of us. We all screwed the pooch on this. Didn't see it coming. And God damn it, after the game was over, I heard a stat on the news, and I knew that stat too, and I didn't think of it. Past 8 games, Arizona has been 7-1 against Dallas. And
Wow.
okay, yeah, Dallas defense, scary. But god damn, dude, Arizona dropped 28. Dallas had 16. Arizona with the big upset. So what I saw is an Arizona team that did exactly what you should do against Dallas. If you can, because their defense is stout. They did lose their top corner. What was his name, Sturm? Gone for the season.
Who did? The Cardinals
No,
or the
Cowboys.
Cowboys? Oh,
Trayvon Diggs.
Wasn't it Trayvon Diggs?
Trayvon Diggs,
Trayvon
yep.
Diggs. Yeah.
That's gonna hurt.
What's his
That's
name's
gonna
brother?
hurt. Yep. That they're gonna feel the effects of that. That is gonna sting. Now with this game, and again, if you're playing Dallas and you can manage to do this, then that's the winning formula. Jump out to an early lead and put the ball in Dak Prescott's hands. And you know what's going to happen? He will let you down. How many years have we watched this man play? How many times has he not been able to get it done in the big moment? How many times has the game been on the line in his hands and he has not gotten it done? And he did it again on Sunday. That pick, that was vintage Dak Prescott. Now, I'm not trying to be like, Stephen A. Smith hating on the Cowboys, but I do hate the Cowboys. Yeah, you got a great defense, but Dak Prescott's your quarterback.
Yeah, great defense that just
thing.
got beat by the fucking Arizona Cardinals. They scored 28 on you, the worst team in the league. And
I think Micah Parsons was saying something like they're one of the best defenses, blah blah blah. They gave up 222 rushing yards, 7.4 per attempt to the Cardinals. That's unexcusable. You can't give that up and be a great defense. That's crazy.
James Conner, 14 carries for 98 yards. That and a touchdown. That is efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And
that is efficient.
And who was their leading receiver? Oh no, I'm not leading, but had 61 yards and a touchdown. Marquise Brown, who I just mentioned.
And Michael Wilson had 2 catches for 86 yards.
Here's the thing about this game: the Cardinals are not laying down and giving up and fighting.
And I swear to God, I said it in the first episode. It's Tank Bowl. They're going for what's his face out of USC, and I could not be any more wrong. They are actually they're scrapping.
They should be 2-1. They should absolutely be 2-1.
Yep. Caleb Williams, that's who I thought they were going to tank for. But, yep, no, they're not. Now, again, Am I wrong in my Dallas Cowboy assessment? I mean, have we not seen this? Have we not listened to this song before with Dak Prescott?
You're not, man. They should have never paid him. Remember the drama about paying him a couple years ago? They should just let him walk and you find somebody else until you get a franchise guy. No, you're not wrong. It's always the same thing. They get the fan base, the Dallas fan base, hopes up. It's like a circle. At first they win their first like 5-6 games. We're them boys. We're going to the Super Bowl. Then I think you lose to then you start losing to the Cardinals, and then it's just back to being shitty again. It's just.
But it's like, and again, Dallas did their job. They had 185 rushing yards and 249 receiving yards. But they cannot get it in the goddamn end zone.
The chat thinks that every team we've talked about so far should trade for Cousins, just so you guys know.
I'm just not. Man.
But yeah, I agree, man. I mean, it's just the same old story. And that's with, the ceiling's not getting higher for Dak Prescott.
I think the Jets are so fucking young, man. Just tank this fucking season. And I mean, really, you don't even know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. He's going to crawl into another cave for 6 months of darkness before he makes a fucking decision, whether or not he even wants to fucking come back. I mean, the dude's, in his fucking 40s. Tank, get a good quarterback, get rid of the Aaron Rodgers idea, send fucking whatever his fucking nuts his name is out into the backyard to be flogged. Zach Wilson. Just don't leverage.
Trade for
future
Dak.
Capital. No, do not leverage future capital with a young Jets team that has a lot of talent. Okay, this year didn't work out. You banked on Aaron Rodgers. It didn't work. Do not use future capital with a young team with a lot of talent on Kirk Cousins, who has had his good moments, but he's not going to bring you to the fucking Super Bowl.
When have the Jets developed a quarterback? Was it Zach Wilson? No. Sam Darnold? No. Mark Sanchez? No. They can't develop a quarterback. They have to go get one. Like they can't. That team they just can't develop a quarterback. So why would you think that they're going to bring and two of those guys are USC? You want to get this third guy from USC and screw him up too? No, they should just get a veteran and roll someone who's dependable.
The Jets and the Bears follow the same playbook of let's draft rookie quarterbacks and ruin their careers.
Mm-hmm. Exactly right.
All right, so we had Seattle at Carolina. Seattle put up 37. Man, I got to give Big Country Mag some credit for his pick of Geno Smith as his quarterback. Seattle dropped 37 against Carolina, only put up 27.
What are you talking about? He likes the Vikings.
No, I meant Big Country has Geno Smith as his quarterback in fantasy.
Oh, gotcha.
Before we go any further, Geno Smith, another Jets draft pick quarterback who failed, and now look at him. He's doing great in Seattle. Just FYI.
The Jets.
Yep, you're right. I forgot about that. But he's done great.
I just don't think the Jets should give up future picks. That's just my thing. But anywho, I mean,
Andy Dalton is playing for Carolina. I didn't watch this game.
Yeah, so I mean, Seattle's a good team. They're well coached. They've got some talent. Geno Smith has been born again. But let's call it what it is, man. Carolina is in rough shape.
Okay,
they are in rough shape.
Hey, why didn't their quarterback? Why didn't Bryce Young play? Is he hurt?
Okay, well,
what's I didn't hear this. What's his injury? Did he not play at all?
I think it was it was an ankle.
Oh.
Wasn't anything like a concussion or anything. I think it was an ankle.
Yeah. All right.
No one is amazed whether they lost or not that Andy Dalton put up 361 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I mean, Andy Dalton's a serviceable quarterback. He's had a good career.
I mean, he's going to hang in the pocket, and if he sees an open receiver 20 yards downfield who's open, he's going to hit him.
Adam Thielen had 145 yards. Sorry.
I mean, my only thing is 34 of 58, but again, that's what happens when your team only rushes for 44 yards. You put the ball in
Yeah.
Andy Dalton's hands, and you're asking him to throw 58 times, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, Adam
It
Thielen
was,
had a huge game. He had 145 yards and a touchdown.
I know he's on my fantasy team, and I still lost.
Just like Seattle, or
I
just like
still don't know.
Carolina.
I don't know what to make of Seattle this year. They're going to be an interesting team. 2-1. They're one loss at home to the Rams. They beat the Lions. They beat the Panthers. It'll be an interesting team to watch moving forward. See how they do.
Oh, the fucking problem is that they're. I think I caught a stat where Seattle passes on first down more than any other team in the league, which I find interesting. I mean, they're running the ball effectively, so I don't understand why they do that. Geno Smith was decent. I mean, he was 23 of 36, 296, one TD and a pick. They rushed for a buck 46. I mean, but this is a game they should have won, and they did win. They were
Yep.
on the road, but Carolina's in rough shape. Their rookie quarterback is hurt, and he wasn't playing all that phenomenally anyway. And they bring in Andy Dalton, and they can't run. Their offensive line is in tatters. So yeah, there's really not much else to say.
They still put up 27 points. I mean, I give them
They did.
props. They
They
were
did.
fighting. They fought till the end.
But then again, I mean, we're long past the days of the Legion of Boom. I mean, the defense. I mean, the
Yeah.
Seattle defense isn't exactly what you would call stout.
Yeah. Carolina even had the lead at halftime. It was 13-12 at half.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the scoring came in the second half.
Yeah. I'll give Carolina props. They fought hard in that one. It wasn't enough, but they tried. They fought. They didn't lay down.
Well, both teams did in the fourth quarter, big time. They both put up multiple scores in the fourth.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns, two each. Yep.
All right, Sturm, here we go. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers, Las Vegas, and Pittsburgh put up 23 to Las Vegas's 18. We all picked Vegas to win this game, and Sturm, I'll let you go, man. This game did not turn out the way you wanted to, so sir, with humility, I let you take the first shot at what your take was in this game.
Well, there's so much to talk about, or so much we could potentially talk about. Our offense is still not clicking. Aside from Devontae Adams, who had a monster
Yeah,
game.
he did. Good Lord.
The running game is in tatters. Like, they didn't get any real good yardage till like at the fourth quarter when they finally started moving the ball. They couldn't get in any kind of rhythm. Jimmy G threw some head scratching interceptions, and that was the story of the game. The offense couldn't move the ball. I thought our defense played very well, and they only gave up the one long bomb to who was that receiver who caught that bomb?
Alvin Austin III.
Yeah, they gave up that, which was unfortunate. But otherwise, they held to field goals until Jimmy G threw that second pick, that was the most head-scratching pick of all because he just airmailed it to nobody except for 2 Steelers who were out there. And then the Steelers just had all the momentum. They went right down the field. That was the best the Steelers offense looked all game. That drive right after that interception.
All season.
And they just crisp. They ran it, they fired it, and then that was the best throw I think I ever saw Kenny Pickett make with that strike to Freiermuth in the end zone for the touchdown.
That was a nice, well drawn out play to get him open on that side of the end zone. That was.
And 23-7, and then it was like finally it was like, all right, we're just gonna play football. Raiders decided and they started to play and they started to move the ball and they came back and we can talk about the fourth quarter and the fourth down decision making of Josh McDaniels and how that was
right.
Dude, Josh McDaniels fucking sucks. What? He fucking sucks. He did the same thing with the Broncos.
Believe it, dude. When all right, Jesus Christ, Stern. No, Stern. Continue if you had more.
Well, so we can like so to me like all right, so they finally get the offense clicking, we finally get moving. And like I said, I think our defense played very well. And I'll start right at the beginning. We went down, we scored that touchdown, and when Marcus Peters dropped that pick six, that changed the entire game. If
That
he had
was
scored that touchdown,
I looked at
and
my wife.
it
I
was
went, that is the biggest bullet anybody could ever dodge because that dude's hands on the defensive end are automatic.
yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say
And
that
that would
dude,
have been 14
that dude
nothing.
can feast or famine. He can also give up a lot of touchdowns. But when that dude's on, he is an interception fucking machine. So he's a good guy to have
Yeah.
on your team.
And if they had scored that touchdown, a 14-point lead, the Steelers are not a team that's built to come back from 14 points. And Kenny Pickett's confidence would have been destroyed. I think it would have been a whole different game. But
Yep.
as it was, it wasn't. So, but moving on to that fourth down decision making. And so I'm curious what you think, Logan. So the setup was this: it was 23, Steelers had 23, the Raiders had 15. I think it was 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, fourth down, and I think 4 or 5. They decide to kick the field goal. They have all 3 timeouts. They make the field goal, but there's a penalty, a personal foul against the Steelers. And
It was using your
leveraging.
part of your
Yeah.
leverage, which is
Yes.
in the rules now where you can't do that.
So here's the biggest problem I have. I think that kicking the field goal with 4 minutes left in an 8-point game with 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning is a perfectly fine decision to make. But when you take the points off the board and you're going to waste more clock, at that point, you make the decision that you are in and you're going for that touchdown. Because when they, moved the ball to the 10 or whatever it was and hit fourth down again, and now you kick the field goal that puts you in the exact same spot you were in 2 minutes ago, but with 2 minutes less time, that to me was I did not understand that decision at all. You got to just go for it at that point, or you decline the penalty and kick the ball off and play defense with 4 minutes, not 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, I didn't quite get that either. I was definitely scratching my head going, are we about to dodge another bullet? Because, okay.
You did. And who knows what would have happened, but what's the best unit on the Raiders team? Who's the best player out there? It's Devontae Adams, right?
He was killing us all game.
Yeah.
All game.
Just throw it to Devontae. Yeah. So, yeah.
I have another question. So the narrative in the media is that the only offense you have is Devontae Adams. Do you agree with that?
Right now, yeah. Jacoby Myers has played very well.
He's pretty good.
Tight ends have been absent, like just gone. Hunter Renfrow has been out to lunch. I don't know what the deal is there. And Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
What is wrong with Josh Jacobs? I don't know.
You guys just
This
paid
is why
him,
you don't
right?
pay a running back.
Yeah,
this is why you don't pay a running back $12 million, because this can happen. I just don't get it. He had some good runs. He ended up with 62 yards. And most of that was in that last couple of drives in the fourth quarter when they were like shotgun. They're handing him the ball in shotgun instead of these obvious rundowns. They were kind of mixing it up, and he was getting good gains. But otherwise, they just stuffed him.
So, on my end, what I saw immediately when Oakland deferred and Pittsburgh got the ball and we got a 3 and out, I went, okay,
Vegas, not Oakland.
I'm just thinking, all right, Steelers 3 and out. Well, this is what I've come to expect. Just stagnant Steeler offense. And then the Raiders had a 3 and out. Defensively for Pittsburgh, I'm pretty sure TJ Watt knows what kind of cologne Jimmy Garoppolo wears because that man was in his face that entire game. TJ Watt.
Before this week, Raiders had not given up a sack, and we gave up, I think, 4, right? God knows how many hits.
4 and like 7 hits. And I will say, 2 of those interceptions, and I did. I even after the picks happened, I would rewind it, and my wife was getting pissed off. You gotta rewind it for every play. I'm like, I gotta be sure. Yep, TJ caused that one. Dude, TJ forced Jimmy G to make some throws he shouldn't have made because he was hearing those footsteps. Because that rookie that was assigned to TJ Watt was just manhandling that kid all game. It was just outrageous, and it wasn't. And there were 4 sacks total. I think rookie Keanu Benton, who had 1 sack, did a really good job because he took the place of when Big Cam Hayward went out. We did hold Josh Jacobs to, Jesus, what was it? It was 62 yards. And coming into this game, our rushing defense has been just god awful. And we finally got back to Steeler football, playing smash mouth defense where you have TJ Watt on one end, Alex Highsmith on the other. The secondary was playing pretty well, other than Devontae. I mean, it's Devontae Adams. What can you do? 13 catches, buck 72, 2 touchdowns. I expected that. Like, we're not going to stop him. But I think we controlled the line of scrimmage. Offensively, I mean, it's an improvement. I'm not going to be like, oh, Steelers. No, there's room for improvement. Kenny Pickett dodged a bullet with that pick 6. I mean, without a doubt. I think the Calvin Austin III was just a moment where he was open. Kenny saw him. He made the right decision, and he was gone. That was kind of the play of the game. He was lucky. The touchdown to Pat Freiermuth was absolutely outstanding. That was a well drawn out play.
I like him.
I have no faith. No, go ahead.
I was just saying how good Freiermuth is. I like him a lot. I always try to get him in fantasy when I can.
No, for a tight end, he's really good. I still have no faith in Matt Canada's offensive scheme. I like how they moved away, and this was actually mentioned during the game, and I'd noticed it the first couple of weeks. They've moved away from kind of a zone run blocking scheme and went to a double team, which was giving Najee Harris and especially Jalen Warren more cleaner lanes to operate and run. And the running game was a lot more effective. There was one play in the game that made me go, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, what is, and it was a penalty. And it made me just go, really? You're gonna call that right now? And that was that Mika Fitzpatrick hit on Garoppolo, which, I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck. I don't care who tells me what. That was a clean hit. Incidental, very slight helmet contact. That was a sack. That was bullshit.
Well,
I would love to know what your thoughts are on that play.
So I think that if reverse the situations, if that was Max Crosby hitting Kenny Pickett the same way, I would agree. I'd be pissed off, but that's the way the modern NFL game is called. If you hit the head, I mean, I've seen plays where like they just like get a hand on the helmet, like a little swat, and that's called 15 yards. So I mean, he definitely made helmet to helmet contact. I get why you're irritated and why all the Steelers fans are irritated, but I'm not surprised at all they called it. Every time I see like any kind of rough hit on a quarterback, I'm always expecting a flag these days. And I'm not surprised they called it because it clearly made helmet to helmet contact with the quarterback.
Okay.
But
I mean, you didn't convince me, but I mean, I do see both sides. There was some helmet to helmet, but it just, the way he hit him and the trajectory and to make the play, you can't go for his legs. So it's like, I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to are you going to Goldberg spear him? I mean, what are you going to do?
I mean, I think your objection is more to the way the rule is written than the way because that's just the way the rule is. If you make contact with the head, and I think McCauley on the broadcast was saying he didn't think it was a penalty, and I definitely disagreed with that because he's like, oh well, it's not forcible contact. Well, his helmet hit Jimmy G's helmet, and Jimmy G's head went back. It's like, or to the side or whatever it was. I mean, who's going to say what forcible contact is? How hard does forcible have to be?
Yeah, there's a gray area in there.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the rule, frankly. But it is what it is, and we just have to live with it. But the one other thing I want to point out, the Raiders, I think, are the only team with 0 takeaways in the league through 3 weeks, and with 3 giveaways.
I was going to mention that in our matchups.
Yeah,
It's
you
a stat I read and I went, oh shit.
And what's the number one stat that determines your percentage of win loss?
Takeaways.
It's turnover ratio, and
Yep,
we're
turnover
negative
ratio.
whatever 8 or something so far. And we're of course the last turnover was that garbage turnover. I didn't care about that one, but the first two were terrible turnovers. And we had a chance to get the one that would have changed. That would have been such a big game changer. But
Those interceptions were so avoidable.
Yeah.
Two of those, especially the one he threw at the end of the game. I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. So Jimmy G did not look comfortable in the pocket most of the night, if you ask me. He was like just looking and looking and looking for the guy.
Was all game.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but like the protection gave him time. It's not like he was getting whomped in 1 second every single play. They were coming. In 3 seconds, TJ Watt was in there and on him, but he wasn't as decisive as I was expecting him to be. Like step, 3-step drop, bam, get the ball out. And he was just like, no, look. And he also targeted Devontae Adams. Like I think he had 28 pass attempts, and 20 of the targets were for Devontae Adams. Devontae's awesome.
He was targeted 20 times out of 28 attempts.
Yeah, you gotta spread the ball around better than that. You just gotta.
Well, it was pretty much him and Jacoby Myers. That was it.
Yeah. I don't know where the tight ends are and where Hunter Renfrow is. And Josh Jacobs is a great back out of the backfield. If you can't hand it to him, throw it to him. He's great catching passes out of the backfield. But, man, it's just Devontae. He only throws it to Devontae. I don't know why. Well, I know why. He's great, but you got to spread it around.
All right, so we had the Eagles at the Buccaneers. We picked this. Eagles dropped 25, Buccaneers 11. I'm not going to get too much on this other than you can definitely tell the offensive coordinator for Philadelphia bolted and left for Indianapolis because Eagles don't look the same as they did last year. They look a little more sluggish. The passing game has been a little suspect. They're running the ball very effectively, of course, and I think with the Bucks, I mean, again, it's Baker Mayfield. He has more commercials than playoff wins. So they were playing well, but you finally played a really good team, and this is the result. So that's all I've got for that game. What do you guys got?
All I know is I want Mike Evans on my team so bad. He's being wasted every year on that team.
He really is. I mean, he got a ring with Tom. I think Mike Evans should be like, dude, I want out of here.
And just try it somewhere else, man. Even if it's not on my team, I would just like to see what he could do on a really good team. But no, Eagles did Eagle stuff, not obviously in a dominant fashion, but that fucking 4th and 1 play, man, it is unstoppable. I've never seen anything like that before where you know exactly what's coming at you, and they will run it, and they will get that 1-2 yard every fucking time. And I just think that's crazy to me. But no, you're right though. I do notice that they are depleting a little bit on offense because last year, man, they were just like scoring 30 on anybody and everybody and more, and they were actually really scary, and they were scary in the Super Bowl.
They had 2 turnovers, but
they did.
The statistical domination, 472 yards to 174, 38 minutes, 39 minutes really of time of possession to 21, and they only won by 2 touchdowns. I mean, I don't know. It's only 2 touchdowns. I guess when you think about the Dolphins, you're expecting these dominant teams to crush people by 30 or 40 points now, but yeah, I mean, they still won. I mean, they did have a 22-point lead until they scored that touchdown late in the 4th quarter. So
exactly, we're saying like it's a disappointment because it's the Eagles, but any other team this would be a huge win. So I mean, I think they're just as good as they are. It's just different stuff going on.
See, I don't know because when you look at Jalen Hurts this year, I don't feel like he's throwing the ball as comfortably or as confidently as he was last year. I mean, this game he had 2 picks. He's not looking as crisp and as efficient. I mean, yeah, they're 3-0, but they're going to have some tougher games coming up this year. And it's just Something is slightly off with their offense, I think. A little bit. Yeah, they went to Tampa Bay. They took care of business, but I feel like Tampa Bay was on kind of, borrowed time. Like Tampa Bay is going to get brought back, brought back down to earth. Why? Because Baker Mayfield's their quarterback.
You would think so. Though, again, they're in the NFC South, where God knows what's going to happen down there. Who knows?
True. That is true. All right, so the last one before we go into the next matchups, we had the Rams at the Bengals. Rams managed to put up 16. The Bengals put up 19. Guys, I actually went to bed just before half. This game was a fucking snooze fest. I was unimpressed. Bengals won. I still think, and Joe Burrow just won't fucking admit it. I wish he would, but his calf injury obviously is affecting him. I mean, he put up some numbers. 26 of 49 for 259. Their running game. I mean, if your running game is only running for 67 yards and you guys are worried about your quarterback with an injured calf, you need to step the fuck up.
Did you see the boot they had on? I mean, the way they have that thing taped up, it's crazy. That was serious.
But it doesn't take a genius to look and watch when he's playing. He's not moving his feet at all. It's hiking to him, and he's throwing it. And it looks bad, and it's a real slow kind of... It's not sloppy. Like, he gets it to where it needs to be. Like, he's accurate still. But, he doesn't have the zing. It's just kind of slow lob. And he kept doing it, 8 yards to the sideline. You notice how many sideline throws they were doing? And Chase kept dropping them. And Chase was at fault for a lot of it as well. Because he had some right in his hands that he was dropping, too. So I think that we need to kind of... I mean, what do you guys think? Is Chase kind of fucking off as well? Because he keeps dropping.
Other than not having any touchdowns, I mean, Jamar Chase was targeted 15 times and got 12 of them.
He had 141. Well, like you said, I went to sleep, so I didn't see the last part of it. But
well, no, I mean, I read the numbers the next day.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is there's no run attack. Joe Burrow is not as mobile as he normally is. I mean, you notice he had 3 carries for -2 yards, so he's pretty much stationary in the pocket. So with no running game, you're asking a quarterback with a sore calf to throw for 49 times. I mean, they still won the game, but and I do believe this because this was the title of a news article I read was Joe Burrow played because re-injuring it wasn't enough risk for them to go 0-3. Honestly, if they'd gone 0-3 in the AFC North, you're looking at one hell of a fucking hole to crawl yourself out of. And just in the AFC in general.
Yeah.
So Joe Burrow had to play this game and they had to win. I had the Rams picked. Matthew Stafford threw some picks that I was just like, dude, what the fuck? But again, their running game wasn't that good either. And god damn, Cincinnati's defense came to play. And they sacked Stafford 6 times.
I was about to say, the Rams lost this more than the Bengals won it.
I agree.
I think Matthew Stafford is done. I mean, he's putting up some really bad stats the last couple of years. Ever since, I don't know what the hell's wrong with him, because I was a big fan of him. And he could put up stats when he was with Detroit and the beginning of the Rams. But what do you guys think about him?
When they beat Seattle earlier this season, he put up good numbers, but he hit a defense that was playing to bail out their hurting quarterback. I mean, that Cincinnati defense really stepped up. I don't think the Rams are done.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, Sean McVay, I'm sorry, he's not going to let that team lay down. They still got Aaron Donald. They still got Matthew Stafford. Puka Nacua for a rookie. I mean, yeah, he was pretty well neutralized in this last game, but he could explode. They're going to get Cooper Kupp back. I think this team's going to be fine. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? I don't know. Next couple of games will determine that. They got a pretty critical matchup coming up here next week, but I think the story here is Cincinnati because Joe Burrow is not playing like Joe Burrow by a long shot.
Yeah, I think that's
Cincinnati, This is a team Cincinnati should have dropped 35-40 on. That's how explosive Cincinnati can be. Go ahead, Sturm. What do you got?
I was going to say, here's the thing about the Rams. You look at their first 3 games, and at the beginning of the year, what would you have probably predicted them to be? Probably 1-2, right? I mean, if you told it, probably most people probably would have predicted them to be 0-3. So if you had said they'll be 1-2 after the first 3 weeks, playing the Bengals, Niners, and Seahawks, 2 of the 3 on the road, I think you'd take that all day if you're a Rams fan, right? Because those are 3 pretty tough games. So I think the Rams are pretty much kind of where you would expect them to be, and given the competition they've played. So I don't think they're going to be I don't think they're in trouble at all right now. Especially like you said, they're going to Cooper Kupp back. I think the schedule might get a little more favorable here moving forward for them. And Sean McVay is a hell of a coach. So yeah, they're not going to lay down by any stretch. Yeah, they got the Colts, the Eagles, the Cardinals. The next 3, Eagles is going to be a hard one, but the Colts and Cardinals are very winnable games for them. And then they got the Steelers, very winnable game.
Oh, blow it out your ass. It is not. All right, so that finishes the slate. So let's switch over to the different page here. Let's go through week 4. So, first game, it's a Thursday night game. We've got Detroit at Green Bay. So, I think with Detroit, granted, their last game, their pass rush came to life. They had quite a few sacks. They did a really good job. Their tight end, I actually caught a stat that their rookie became the first tight end to catch 5 or more receptions in each of his first 3 career games since the merger. So that's another weapon for Jared Goff. Lions are still committing a lot of penalties. This last game they committed 10, so that's concerning. So they're playing Green Bay. Green Bay was down 17-0. Granted, Derek Carr went out, but Jordan Love came in, put some scoring drives together. Their running back, I think last year, went through a torn ACL issue. Doesn't look like it's slowing them down too much. Green Bay, they ran the ball pretty effectively. The spread is actually Detroit favored by 1.5. I'm actually going to take Detroit in this game, guys. How do you see this game playing out?
Go ahead, Sturm.
I got the Lions in this game. Green Bay lost to the Falcons, should have lost to the Saints. Lions beat the Packers last year in Green Bay to end Aaron Rodgers' tenure there and keep them out of the playoffs. Detroit, I think, is a tougher, grittier team. 2-1, probably should be 3-0. And I think that, again, you have a primetime game against a division rival. Detroit is going to be extremely motivated to play well and show up on this game. Yeah, I think they beat the Packers. I think they beat them pretty handily, honestly.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely like the Lions in this game. What do you got, Bob?
I mean, after the first game of the season, I think that Detroit won their Super Bowl already in week 1. So I don't think Detroit's as good as you guys keep thinking and the world thinks. Green Bay's going to win this.
Ooh. Upset special right there, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Do the sound effect, Bob. Do it.
Sound the alarm?
Sound the alarm. You're picking an upset.
You guys can't hear it. But yeah, everyone at home can.
Upset special.
All right, next we've got Atlanta at Jacksonville. So Atlanta, there are some concerns. They're not a very good run team.
Before you get there, remember it's not at Jacksonville. We're actually in Wembley Stadium in London, England.
That's right. It's in England. Okay. It's in England. That's right.
Okay.
And the Jags are actually playing 2 consecutive games in London. So this week they've got a game in London, and next week in London too.
Oh Jesus!
They have
Yeah.
all over the. Germany's going to be one this year. I think the Chiefs play in Germany once this year. I think they're looking at Brazil here in the next couple of years, so they're really trying to branch out.
Brazil. Wait, what? Did you say they're playing a game in Brazil?
Not this
No.
year, but they're looking at
Oh.
doing Brazil in the future and in another
Okay.
place too as well.
I got you. All right.
So,
All right, so who's going to pick this game? Give us the background there, Logan. Let's hear what,
well,
hear
with,
what you
with
got.
Atlanta, I have some issues. Last week, their run game was absolutely atrocious. They were averaging 2.2 yards per rush. And for a team that Desmond Riller has some accuracy problems. I know in the last game, they missed it was a key fourth down conversion attempt. He lost a fumble. Jacksonville, if they want to stay relevant in that division, I mean, Houston's playing well. Indianapolis isn't laying down. Jacksonville has to win this game. Trevor Lawrence has to bounce back, especially against an Atlanta team that is still trying to find some sort of an identity. So I'm going for Jacksonville. They're favored by 3. And oh yeah, I forgot for the last game. I wanted to throw out for shits and giggles. The over/under for Falcons Jaguars is 43.5. I actually like Jacksonville with the points and under.
Well, I tend to agree. I think that this is a close. This could be a very close matchup, just because Jacksonville just doesn't seem to be playing very well. Something's wrong, but this looks like a good kind of get right game for Jacksonville. They've played in London more than any other team, I think, in the league over the last how many ever years. And so they I think it's a home field for them. It's considered a home field game for them. But even if it wasn't, they have more experience being over there and acclimating to over there. Atlanta's offense just wasn't impressive last week, and I do think that Jacksonville will probably get the win here. It could be an ugly game, but I think they'll eke out a win because they need a win. They're 1-2. They need a win. They can't go to 1-3.
Jacksonville has to win this game.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bob?
I want to pick Atlanta, but I feel like Jacksonville's going to win. But I got to go with my gut. I'm going with my gut for now. I'm going to say Atlanta. I think it could go. Yeah, let's do another one. Why don't we? I can see either one of them winning, and I have no real reason why Atlanta's going to win, except I like Atlanta, and hopefully they win.
I could see Atlanta winning this game. I just think that there's too much at stake for Jacksonville. They can't go to 1-3. This is going to be a Trevor Lawrence. Just like I predicted, Joe Burrows was going to will the Bengals to a win. Trevor Lawrence is going to do that this week with the Jags.
All right, next game. Holy shit. In my opinion, this is the game of the week. I will be watching this game and the Steeler game. This is must watch TV. This is going to be fireworks all day. Dolphins at Buffalo. Buffalo favored by 2.5. Over under 53.5. I'm just going to throw it out now. I'm taking the over on that. For fuck's sakes, man, the Dolphins put up 70 without Waddle. And the weather hasn't turned cold yet. It's still going to be beautiful up here in the great Northeast. So weather's not going to be too much of a factor for Miami. For God's sakes, Devon, they're running back. I mean, he's a rookie. He had 233 total yards and 4 touchdowns in the last game. Absolutely just ridiculous. And you got Tyreek Hill just doing track meets up the sideline. But Buffalo's defense, man, they made a statement against Washington. 4 picks, 7 sacks. I don't know. There's going to be more pressure, I think, on Tua this week. I can speak from experience. The Buffalo crowd is loud and fucking obnoxious and evil sometimes. So I think this game is going to determine possibly who's going to win this division. I'm actually going to go Miami. I think Miami goes into Buffalo. So Bob, hit that siren. I think Miami takes this with the over. I just don't know how you stop them. I don't know how you stop this offense.
What do you think, Sturm?
This is a definitely the game of the week.
Things got quiet because both of you were like, dude, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's a hard one.
This is a hard one, and for obvious reasons. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think the Dolphins are going to go undefeated, right? They're going to lose. They're going to have some trip-ups, and this seems like a prime candidate for a game for them to lose. That means, especially coming off of a 70-point performance, what's Mike McDaniel's biggest challenge this week is trying to get the Dolphins to not get their heads get too big and think too highly of themselves. Seems like a perfect setup for a letdown kind of game. Bills played the Dolphins 3 times last year and won 2 out of 3, including both matchups at Buffalo, even though they only won by 3 points each. I think Buffalo, and both those games were well over 60 points for the over in Buffalo. Yep. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. And I hate to pick against the Dolphins because, God, that team is good. They didn't even have Jalen Waddle on the field.
Jesus Christ.
So, but the Dolphins are not going to go 17-0. This looks like a prime game that they could lose. Buffalo, I will predict Buffalo like a 45-42 kind of game. I'm going with Buffalo.
All right, what do you got, Bob?
Yeah, what Sturm said, I could not have said it any better. That's kind of how I feel about things. Could Miami just come in and smoke the Bills, especially the Bills are kind of on a weird thing going on? Yes. But, yeah, if someone's going to beat them, I think Bills is one of the top teams that could pull it off rather well. So I'm going to go with the Bills as well.
Who's favored in this game? Miami must be, right?
No, Buffalo by 2.5.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be close, but Yep. That'd be a good one. That's going to be a good one.
All right. So we've got a battle of the winless. Denver at Chicago. And Denver, I can't believe this just goes to show you how bad Vegas thinks any Chicago Bear fans out there. This is how highly Vegas thinks of you. Denver's favored by 3.5.
Yeah.
Who needs this win more? Honestly, I'm going to answer that right now. I think Denver does. I think Sean Payton coming in to save Russell Wilson from mediocrity, even though I think that is a completely pointless venture because that's all Russell Wilson is. Pete Carroll made Russell Wilson what he is, and he went to Denver, and now Russell Wilson is what I always thought he was, which is mediocre at best. Chicago ending their skid. I mean, Chicago can't even apparently padlock their own stadium because shit gets stolen.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Okay, what happened?
I mean, they're a dumb.
I gotta hear that. What? What got stolen?
Chicago had like a bunch of shit stolen from their stadium, like
tractors and groundskeeping equipment. $100,000 worth.
What?
It wasn't property.
Yeah.
It wasn't property of the Bears. It was some contractor, but the equipment was all on in Soldier. They broke into Soldier Field and stole it.
So you're asking me to trust a team that can't even padlock their own stadium? Justin Fields, again, Chicago does one thing great, and that's ruin rookie quarterbacks.
They need to get Baker Mayfield to watch over the stadium for them.
They're doing it to Justin Fields. Chicago is they're just bad. They're just so bad. There's nothing more I can support Justin Fields. He wants to run, and when he does, it doesn't always work out. And I just think the poor kid is just so confused. I mean, if you look at his numbers from last year, you can tell the organization went, yo, kid, you need to relax. But, I mean, he nearly broke Michael Vick's record of rushing yards for a quarterback. He was that close. But as for who I think needs this game more, I'm obviously going to go Denver. I think Sean Payton, the Broncos have to be motivated after what just happened to them against Miami. They know they're playing a shit team. They're both 0-3. I like Denver in this one and the points. I think they win by a touchdown.
Well, this is one of those games. As I said before, I think this is a hard week of games to pick. And in part because you got like two of the best teams who are fighting it out, and now you've got two of the worst teams fighting it out. So it's like, who's going to be worse and who's going to suck more? The Denver Broncos or the Chicago Bears? It is in Chicago, so that's an advantage for the Bears, but I like a couple things for the Broncos here. I like the fact that they have a veteran quarterback, a veteran coach, and after giving up 70 points, they have to be playing for some pride here. They can't lose again, so I think that Denver will get a win. Even though I'm rooting for the Bears, I think Denver will get the win.
Do the Broncos ever win?
Well,
I
They
can't
did
think.
back in the days when they had
We'll see.
John Elway and Terrell Davis and Peyton
When
Manning.
they had Peyton Manning treated the AFC West as Mahomes does now. We'd never beat them, not once. But since then, I can't think of a time they've ever won. There's actually a funny. It was an offensive lineman for the Broncos after that loss. He said something like, "I've been here 7 years and all I've done is lose." I feel so sorry for that guy because that would suck, you know.
So who do you like, Bob? Denver or the Bears?
I'll go with Bears. Just like all these other picks tonight, I don't really have a reason why that's going to happen.
You wonder why you're like of all four of us, you're like least in the standings of wins.
Yeah, well, because I don't have any really because they both fucking suck. It could go either way.
They do.
I would say Broncos because of what Sturm said with the coach and the stuff, but they fucking suck. I'll go for the Bears.
Whoever loses this game is going to spiral. Like they're going to spiral.
No, that's that. Whoever loses this game, yeah. And remember, we've got the last little segment where each of us are going to pick two teams that we think are just done and looking for a draft pick. And
this might be the matchup to tell you.
Yeah, that could be the matchup right there. All right, so we've got the Ravens at the Browns. Cleveland is favored by 2.5. I'm still not ready to give up on the Ravens yet. And I hate picking division games. I hope they both lose. In fact, I'd prefer both of them to tie, being a Steeler fan. The Ravens did have 4 injured starters. Their left tackle, center, wide receiver Odell Beckham, and their backup running back, Justice Hill. And I think that was a big reason why their offense just looked kind of meh in their last game. Their safety in their last game had 3 sacks. That was outstanding. So their defense can still pack a punch, but fucking Cleveland, they've pretty much dispelled any rumor from last year that stopping the run was an issue for them because their defense is absolutely monstrous. Myles Garrett is just an absolute beast. Deshaun Watson is doing just enough to not lose the game. I am a little concerned, and again, it's so early. We don't have an updated injury report, which is why, again, I agree with Sturm. I think these games are tough to pick because there's been a lot of injuries this season. But I'm actually going to go with the Browns. I don't know what it is. I like the way Cleveland controls the line of scrimmage. I like how they control the clock. Their defense is absolutely elite. So I think Cleveland wins this game. The over-under is 41. I'm actually going to go under. I think this is going to be a kind of a low-scoring game. But I like Cleveland.
Cleveland's favored, you said, right?
Yes, Cleveland's favored by 2.5.
Yeah, I'm going Cleveland too. It's a home game, big rivalry game. The defense and the running game has not missed a beat without Chubb. And you're right about Myles Garrett. The guy is a monster. And Deshaun Watson is playing well enough not to lose.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yep.
Injuries have ravaged Ravens as they do every year. They don't know what
Yep.
their run game is going to be. And that means it's all the Lamar Jackson show. And I don't think it'll be enough. I do think you're right about the under. This has got all the makings of a 17-14 kind of game. But I
100%.
do think
Yeah.
Cleveland's going to pull it out at home. If we're in Baltimore, I might go the other way. But in Cleveland, has Cleveland played every fucking game at home so far this year? It seems like every time we turn around, it's a home game for Cleveland.
You know what? Yeah. I think so far, no.
Only
One
the
of their
Steelers
games
game,
away
yeah.
because both
Yeah.
games at home they've won.
Yeah, they beat Tennessee at home. They beat Cincinnati at home, and they were at Pittsburgh, and they lost
Yeah,
that
they
one.
lost
And
the
then here
Steelers.
they're home against Baltimore again. Yeah, so I say Cleveland.
Bob, what do you like?
Yeah, I think Cleveland is really good. They're really stout. They're pretty scary on defense. And even if I think even if fucking Zach Wilson was over there as a quarterback, they would still win a lot of games. I've never been sold on the Ravens, not from day one. I'm sick of the overhype of the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. I've always thought he was only a running back, and it's like one side or the other. If you talk bad about him, there's this other like group that was like, how dare you talk bad about Lamar Jackson? What the fuck has he done? He won MVP and choked the first game that he played in the playoffs. He's one of the biggest choke artists in the playoffs. And yes, he puts up great. It's weird. There's a lot of quarterbacks and players and teams that will kick ass every year in the regular season. But as soon as you hit that threshold of the playoffs, they just suck. And the Chiefs were like that for 20 years. But anyways, with that being said, Browns.
All right. So next we have Cincinnati at the Tennessee Titans. So first off, let's just be 100% transparent. Joe Burrow isn't right. That's apparent. Cincy and some of the stats I've looked up, they're struggling in early downs. They've been facing a lot of third downs. In fact, I think they're in the bottom of teams that have faced the most third downs to extend drives. They're converting at a decent rate, but eventually that kind of luck is gonna run out. Their running back Mixon, he's being a workhorse. I mean, yeah, it was 19 carries last game for 65 yards, but they did what they had to do to kind of control the clock against the Rams a little bit. But again, if Joe Burrow isn't right, how effective are they going to be? I mean, Jamar Chase didn't have any touchdowns, but for Christ's sakes, he was all over the field. I mean, he had a great game. The Titans, could their offense be any worse? I mean, defensively, they're stout. They stop the run, but I mean, as for an offense, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's so bad. I mean, they had the ball. I mean, I think what was one of the notes here? Had the ball on the Browns 17-yard line off a Sean Murphy bunting forced fumble, and they recovered, and they went backwards 9 yards in 3 plays and had to settle for a 44-yard field goal. So you recover the ball in the red zone, and then you end up being pushed back on 3 offensive plays to kick a 44-yarder. So that's how bad your offense is. So in this game, I'm actually going to go Cincy. It's in Tennessee. Maybe they pull it together, but I think with the Titans at 1-2, the Bengals at 1-2, Joe Burrow played. He's got another week off to rest the calf. See what happens. He wasn't manhandled by the Rams. Aaron Donald got his hands on him once, but I'm going to take the Bengals on this. And the Bengals are favored by 2.5, and the over-under is 41. I would actually take the under on this game, but I like Cincy.
Yep, I agree. Cincinnati, I think they're the better team with the better quarterback, even though he's hurt. I don't trust the Titans offense for anything right now. Tannehill is terrible, and Henry's not running the ball well. And Cincinnati's pass rush is pretty freaking impressive. So I think Cincinnati's got, I think, 3 games before the bye, and they're all winnable games. I think Cincinnati goes on a bit of a roll, gets to the bye, gets Joe Burrow healthy, then watch out. Here come the Bengals. So, yeah, I think Cincinnati wins.
What do you got, Bob? Go ahead. Pick Tennessee because you know how much you love Joe Burrow.
Sound the siren.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sound the siren.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. I mean, I watched him. I've been watching him, and we said this earlier. I just don't see he doesn't even move his feet in the pocket. That's scary. And eventually he will get leveled. Is Tennessee good? Not really right now. But I've watched Tennessee.
Fucking dreadful, dude. I did not expect Tennessee to be this bad coming out this season.
Right, but they're always. I mean, they had that the 2-year run there where they were rivaling the Chiefs for a bit.
No, they had a couple years where, man, they were playing some dynamite football. But this year, they are just offensively, they are a train wreck.
But Vrabel is very Belichickian. Belichick sucks too right now. But still, he's going to give you his best. He's going to play hard mouth football. And Vrabel takes more pride in taking down the diva teams, kind of like the Chiefs or the Bengals. He really takes pride and goes extra hard on these teams. So I think you're going to be surprised. I think it's going to be kind of a low in the teens on both of them, kind of like the last Cincinnati game was. I think it's going to be they're both going to suck, but I think that the Titans will suck less. So I'm going for Titans.
All right. It's because he hates fucking Burrowhead.
Yeah, the problem is Vrabel can't play quarterback. You got Tannehill playing quarterback, and that's going to be the problem.
Yeah. Well, I just think of defense. I think maybe if they play good enough defense, they can pull it off.
All right, so we got Rams at the Colts. What can I say about the Rams? I mean, when your best receiver is a rookie, you're gonna have some issues. And Cincy did a pretty good job of bottling up Puka Nacua. Again, didn't have a great day. Their offensive line needs some work under a lot of blitzes. Stafford was sacked 6 times. Missing Cooper Kupp, it sucks. Their defense did pretty well, but again, we're talking about a defense that played against a Joe Burrow who is just not right. As for the Colts, again, I haven't seen the injury report yet. I know Anthony Richardson was under concussion protocol. Don't know how he's going to be for this game. If he plays, I'm going to pick the Colts. If he doesn't play, I'm probably still going to take the Colts. Another interesting stat I had was their running back Zach Moss. He was dealing with a lower body injury, but he still finished with 122 yards on 30 carries. Dude was a workhorse, just pounding it through, getting it done. And I think against a Rams defense and the way the Colts are playing with grit and hunger, Indianapolis is favored by 1.5. And the over-under is 46.5.
Wow.
I'm going to take the Colts with the points. As for the over-under, man, fuck. 46.5. I'm going to go with the under. I think it's going to be a little bit of a lower scoring affair. But I like Indianapolis to win this game.
So I like the Rams. I think the Rams have this game. I think that I know the Colts are gritty and they're definitely playing. They're punching above their weight, but I think this is a game where the Rams have some firepower with Puka Nacua and Aaron Donald and Stafford. I think they're going to win this game. Just too much talent, I think, for the Rams. And especially if Anthony Richardson doesn't play. I mean, Gardner Minshew, I got to give him credit. He's a great backup. He can really motivate and rally a team.
Yeah, he did. He played well.
But the Colts aren't going to kick. I mean, they won the game because they kicked 4 50-yard field goals last week. I think the Rams are going to have more offense than the Colts, and I think they'll get the win. So I guess that's upset special there, right there, buddy.
Is it? All right, sound it. siren's still going off. I think I'll go with the Rams too. Who are the receivers for the Indianapolis?
I can actually look that up.
I don't even know.
They have some decent wideouts. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds and I will find that. Indian.
I might
Go. Because they just beat the Ravens. Michael Pittman Jr.
Okay, he's good.
9 receptions. And that's the other thing. Minshew actually spread the ball out pretty well. Zach Moss, 2 catches, 23 yards, had a touchdown. But you had Michael Pittman, 9 catches, 77. Josh Downs, 8 catches, 57. I mean, again, nothing huge. I think with a backup quarterback, they played more conservatively, weren't really letting him air it out too much.
Yeah.
I mean, the longest reception that was caught was of 34. So, they weren't airing it out too much, but no, I mean, they have some weapons that can catch the ball. I mean, I see where your guys are coming from with the Rams. I think the Colts are hungry, and I'm banking. I mean, again, Richardson was in the concussion protocol, so he should be cleared. There's a very good chance he's going to play. And if he does, that kid, the 2 weeks he did play, he was putting up some damn good numbers. And he's not afraid to run the ball. So that's just why I like the Colts. So
I was going to pick the Colts, but then I started thinking, like, who had more weapons, and, like, Stafford's a little more experienced. And I think I'm going to go with the Rams as well.
All right. Next, we got the Tampa Bay Bucks at the New Orleans Saints. Now, Tampa Bay, it's Baker Mayfield. They have, I will say, from last year, they have improved their run game, because last year their run game was ranked like worst. But scoring in the red zone, that's their biggest weakness. I think they're in the bottom cellar of teams that actually score when they're in the red zone. The Saints, man, Derek Carr being out, division game. It is a division game, right?
Is it confirmed? Has he been called out already for the week? And it's a divisional game. You're right.
That's the thing. We pick these games so early. I mean, you said week to week. We just don't know. Like, honestly, if Derek Carr plays and he's efficient, I think the Saints win this game. If he doesn't play, I think it gives another reason for Baker Mayfield to have a pedestrian game and Tampa Bay squeaks out another win. So I'm going to say fuck it. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think they're going to keep their 2-1. I think they're going to keep Derek Carr out as precaution. They can go 2-2 and still be in this division. So if that's the case, I like Tampa Bay in this game. New Orleans is still favored by 3, shockingly enough, and the over-under is 40.5. Fuck, man. Again, if Carr plays, I take the over. If he doesn't play, I'm taking the under. But I'm saying he's not playing. I'm going to take the Bucks and the under. So that's where I'm at.
That's a hard one, because Derek Carr will make a difference if he plays or doesn't play. Both these teams are 2-1. They both have, I think, played above expectations so far this season. And this is a tough one.
If Derek Carr played, and we all agreed, Green Bay would not have won that game.
Right. They'd be 3-0.
Yeah. So again, if Derek Carr plays, I will pick the Saints. But with how that shoulder injury was and that they pulled him, that's still going to be sore. And what did you say it was, Sturm? It was a strain?
AC sprain. And they took him to the hospital. Did you know that? He went to the actual hospital.
Yeah, then you know what? Derek Carr is out for next week. I'm taking the Bucks.
Oh, he switched his call.
No, I said the Bucks. I said if Derek Carr plays, I would pick the
Oh.
Saints. I don't think he's going to play, so I'm taking the Bucks and I'm taking the under.
Oh. This is a hard one. This really is. This might be one of the hardest ones of the week. I'm going Bucks. I think famous Jameis is going to play, and I think that he's going to make mistakes. He's going to throw a pick or two that's going to turn
Yep.
the game. And it'll be close, but I think Tampa Bay will. Gosh, this is crazy. Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay could be 3-1 after this week. Or New Orleans will be 3-1. It's crazy. I'm going Tampa Bay. It's more of a coin flip than anything. I don't trust. I mean, I'm trying to pick who I trust more, Baker Mayfield or Jameis Winston. I mean, what the fuck?
It's a fucking coin flip.
Yeah. I'll go with Baker. Let's go Tampa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bob, what do you got?
So, I think Jameis Winston does play. And where was Jameis Winston drafted to and then shoved away from?
The Saints.
No. He was for Tampa Bay. Wasn't he drafted by Tampa Bay?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was drafted
So
by
he's
Tampa
playing
Bay.
his former team. No matter how many times you face him, you want to show him, fuck you. He's going to do that. He's going to throw for 4 touchdowns. Doesn't mean he doesn't make mistakes. He's going to have a huge game, and he will beat them by a lot. New Orleans.
Well, you can't hit the siren for that one. We actually picked the upset.
So should
All
I,
right,
should I still sound it?
Well, yeah, because Sturm and I had the upset for that. Yeah. All right, next one, and Jesus Christ, I think we're all going to be pretty unanimous on this one. The Commanders at Philly. So how does Sam Howell respond after having the shit kicked out of him in his last game? Pretty much made one bad decision after another. Kept trying to make the big play, didn't really work out. Their running back, Brian Robinson Jr., I mean, combined, he had 157 yards in the past 2 games. I mean, he's doing his job, but I know we talked about some of the Eagles' struggles, losing their offensive coordinator to Indianapolis. Jalen Hurts doesn't quite look the same, but in Philly, that crowd, Commanders struggling, Eagles 3-0, Philly's favored by 8. Over-under's 44.5. And that defense, to be honest, I like Philly and the points. I think they win by more than 8. But I like the under. I think the Commanders get a big size 12 boot in their ass and don't score too many points. So I'm taking Philly.
I don't think this game requires a lot of analysis. I think if Sam Howell has the perfect game, Eagles still win by 10. So Eagles for sure.
In no way will the Eagles lose this. Eagles.
All right, that covers that. So we've got Minnesota at Carolina. Another game of the battle of the non-winnable. Nobody has a victory yet. Vikings and fucking Panthers.
Oh, wow.
So I think it's safe to say that nobody here expected the Vikings to be 0-3 at this stage in the season. It's going to be a struggle. I don't really know what else to say about the Vikings. I mean, Kirk Cousins is trying to play his heart out. He's putting up some numbers. Their running game isn't too bad. Their defense, their pass defense is just absolutely dreadful. The Chargers lit them up. They threw at will. I mean, they had a total of 445 passing yards. That means pretty much your entire secondary was asleep. And it was on 41 completions. We don't really know who the Panthers are. Their rookie is still trying to figure it out. I think Kirk Cousins gets his first win. And Minnesota is favored by 3.5. The over/under is 45 and 45.5. I like Minnesota with the points and the over. I think this is going to turn into a bit of a shootout because both defenses are shit.
And we don't know if Bryce Young's going to be back, right? It's going to be,
No, we don't.
the Andy Dalton show. I don't think it really matters. Bryce Young has not played exceptionally well.
Nope.
I think that Minnesota, I mean, they desperately need a win if they want to have any chance. This is their shot. I think they'll probably win pretty big with Justin Jefferson, catching some passes. I think the Vikings got this game. They're favored. What was the over/under? 40?
45 and 45.5.
Jeez, that's kind of high. Yeah, I'd probably take the over. I think Minnesota will put some points on them.
What do you got, Bob?
Well, every time I pick them, they lose. Yeah, I just don't think Carolina knows what they ever are doing. Their rookie is nothing like Houston's rookie. So even though they compared him to fucking Mahomes last year, he is not playing anything like it. Minnesota.
All right, next we've got Steelers at Texans. Defense is not great. They can be had. Some points can be put on them. Their pass rush is pedestrian at best. It's going to depend on Kenny Pickett. Can he build on last week's win and get some drives together? The Texans have proven to be incredibly resilient. Their offensive line is better than expected. Their rookie quarterback has just been, CJ Stroud has been better than what anybody thought he would be. He threw for 280 yards in his third start. What was one interesting stat I had? Became the third quarterback in NFL history to pass for 900 yards through their first 3 career games. So the kid's throwing. However, the Texans have not faced a defense with the kind of blitzing pressure that Pittsburgh can bring. Again, you have TJ Watt on one end, Alex Highsmith on the other. The secondary can be had. We saw that with Las Vegas last week. But if you can get some pressure on CJ Stroud and rattle him a little bit and force him into awkward positions, kind of the same, game plan that the Steelers had against Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm thinking the rookie finally shows the NFL that he's a rookie. They are 1-2. They're not winning games, but he's been playing well. But Pittsburgh's favored by 3. The over/under is 42. I don't have much faith in the Steeler offense, but I think they score enough, and the defense forces Houston into some timely turnovers, and I like Pittsburgh to take this game.
Interesting matchup here we have. I think that Houston, coming off this big win at Jacksonville, they're going to be playing with a little bit of pep in their step. And I think they're going to make this a much better game than maybe people might realize. I think I'm going with the Texans in a real close game. CJ Stroud has been playing pretty well, and we'll see what Kenny Pickett can do. I think I said in one of my messages, I'm not sure that guy's ready for prime time. I'm not sure that offense is up to snuff of the Steelers, and I think the Texans might shock the world this week. I'm picking the Houston Texans.
Mike Tomlin is 15-2 against rookie quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Really? He's lost twice. You're telling me there's a chance.
All right, telling you there's a chance. Bob, what do you got?
My turn.
Yep.
I don't really have an opinion, but I am going to start following this Houston quarterback because he is putting up numbers, looking pretty good. Beat Jacksonville, which is one of the top AFC teams right now. So I'm going to go with Houston. I'm on the board with Pittsburgh and like what they are on paper, But unfortunately, it's just not converting lately. So I'm going to go with Houston.
All right.
Couple of upsets there. Our picks this week are all over the board,
Oh
so
my
I can't
God,
wait
we
to
are.
see.
This is the most parody and ridiculous. Yeah, we are all over the place this week. So I'm gonna grab a quick splash real quick, but the next game I'm gonna let Sturm lead off with this one. It is at the Chargers, and
Yeah.
the Chargers are favored by 5.5, and the over under is 47.5. Sturm,
Wow.
take that away.
Well, this is going to be a challenging game. Of course, the game is in LA, which means it's going to be a home game for the Raiders because the Chargers never have their fans at their stadium. But that team is dangerous on offense. There's no question about it with Justin Herbert and the numbers he puts up. Keenan Allen had a ridiculous game last week. Defense is always pretty good as well. I love my Raiders, and one of the big questions that the Raiders have this week is who's going to play quarterback because Jimmy Garoppolo is in the concussion protocol, which is a problem, which means we either have Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell, the rookie who did very well in the preseason.
Hold
If
on.
Garoppolo
Hold
can't
on.
go.
You have Brian Hoyer from like 20 years ago that played.
Ancient Brian Hoyer.
I'm
Yep.
pretty sure he played for the Chiefs at one point. I could be wrong.
He's been around everywhere.
How
He's
old
ancient.
is that guy?
Yeah.
He played for Patriots,
I think-
right?
Yeah, I think this is his 15th season, maybe 16th season.
Okay.
So,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But I had to ask that.
No. I mean, eventually the Raiders have to get their shit right. And the Chargers, this is a battle for second place. Both teams are 1-2. This is going to be this is a big early season matchup for the Raiders and the Chargers. We've got Brandon Staley coaching. He can't coach shit, though. Josh McDaniels, I don't know if he's that much better of a coach, but I got to go with my Raiders. I kind of hope Aiden O'Connell, the rookie, gets a chance to play. I want to see what this guy can do. And this might be the perfect opportunity because he kicked ass in the preseason. I get it's preseason, but nonetheless, I want to see what the guy can do in the regular season. So hopefully he gets a chance. I'm going Raiders.
And they haven't
28-24.
They haven't announced who's going to be the starter.
Well, it's because he's in concussion protocol, so they won't. I think what's the earliest he could clear is like Thursday or Friday. So
I guess I don't remember that. How did he?
So he never left the game. That Minka Fitzpatrick hit probably gave him a concussion.
No, it did. I was going to say that in my piece that Garoppolo's in concussion protocol.
Yep, he's in the concussion protocol. Don't know who's going to play. I'm hoping if he doesn't go, Aiden O'Connell gets the start, but we'll see. But anyway, Logan, you may spoiler alert. I picked the Raiders.
I knew you would.
Just for stupidity reasons, let's sound the alarm. All right, old man, what do you think?
And again, this is where we literally, all the three of us, we're all being swamis because it's too early for like an accurate injury report. We should really do this show on Fridays, to be honest. But it is what it is. Man, the Chargers secondary is so bad. But the problem is they can score so many points in bunches that they make up for it. Keenan Allen is just a fucking machine. I mean, 18 catches for 215 yards. I mean, setting a team record for single game receiving yards.
When he's healthy. But he plays about 4 games a year.
Well, he also threw a 49-yard touchdown pass to Mike Williams.
Oh, I'm not saying he's not good, but I'm just saying like he'll play 4 or 5 games, a year.
So it's like if Garoppolo plays, I think this game will be incredibly competitive. I think Max Crosby is going to be hunting Justin Herbert all goddamn day. It's going to get ugly. Like again, Justin Herbert is going to know Max Crosby's number very well. They did. Again, Steeler offense isn't all that in a bag of chips, but the Raider defense played very well against the Steelers. Their pass rush was effective. They did make Kenny Pickett very uncomfortable at times. So, fuck, and it's in LA.
Which, as I mentioned during my commentary, it's going to be mostly Raiders fans because Chargers fans do not fill up that stadium.
No, they don't. They don't. They don't. So there'll definitely be a Raider presence there.
Also, Ray Rock says in the chat that Mike Williams is also done for the year with a torn ACL.
Oh, he is. He is.
He tore his ACL. Yep.
That was another thing I wanted to bring up towards the end of the show. The amount of season-ending injuries this year has been outrageous.
And they're all big-time playmakers for teams, too.
Yeah, they have been. Sturm took the Raiders. We've been all over the place. Fuck it. I'm actually going to go with the Chargers. I just think they're going to be able to put up enough points. Yeah, I think the Raider defense is going to make things difficult for Justin Herbert, but he's not afraid to run. He's not afraid to. He's a gunslinger. He's not afraid to take some chances, chuck it downfield. So I will take the Chargers, but I am going to take the under. I think 47.5 is a lot, especially if Garoppolo doesn't play.
Okay, I have a question about odds and stuff. I've never understood them, not in 35 years. What does it mean? It's under over 45. What's 45?
So, like over for this game, the over under is 47.5. What we're betting on is that both teams that score combine their scores at the end of the game. If it's over 47.5 and you pick the over, you win the bet.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you think they're not going to score that amount, you pick the under.
Okay. I see.
So you're kind of going on offensive efficiency.
All right.
Oh, you never knew that, Bob?
I've never understood odds and all that stuff whenever I see it. Not once.
I sometimes like picking over-unders a little bit more because it just makes things kind of fucking interesting.
I might do a couple bets someday on. I don't know if you do it on DraftKings or where do you ever bet on stuff like that? Where do you go?
I used to, and then I got a little too carried away at one point in my life, so I stopped.
So he started playing Swugga. He had to channel that money somewhere.
It was literally about the time I started playing Swugga where I said to myself, I need to stop betting on football.
And spend twice as much on this mobile game.
Dude, tell me about it. I've got a Relic 9 Leia and a Relic 9 Malicos. Yeah, I spend way too much.
Holy shit, you have a Relic 9 Malicos?
Yeah.
Does he hit hard at Relic 9? Is he good at Relic 9?
I did it for the survivability.
Okay. I haven't at Relic 5.
I mean, his physical damage is over 11K. Yeah. But I've got him at 291 speed, which is the sweet spot of where I want him. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this next 5v5 because I have all 3 Omicrons on him. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, damn.
Wrong podcast, boys.
I know. We're on that Thursday. Oh my God, we have so much shit to go over on Thursday. It's obscene. So
you
Bob,
brought it up, Bones. It's on you, man. You brought it up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Bob, you let that cat out of the fucking bag.
Sorry.
So, Bob, what do you got for Las Vegas and Chargers, or did you pick already?
As much as I love watching two of my enemies just beat each other up, it'll be interesting. I don't know anything about the rookie you were talking about, but it would be cool for people to underestimate Vegas, that guy come in and then just light it up somehow. Not light it up, but, win the game for him. That'd be pretty good, but we don't know that's going to happen or not. I'm going to take Los Angeles because Herbert's Herbert. But then again, what if they make some fucking stupid call and loses it? So it's
Brandon Staley.
Every one of these matchups is like very, very even. But I'm going to go Los Angeles.
All right, next, folks, we have the New England Patriots at the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is favored by 7. The over-under is 43.
This screams upset. I don't know what you guys think, but it's screaming upset to me.
It kind of does. Mac Jones, I mean, the other thing is, I know the NFL is taking action after the nut slap. I don't know if it's a fine. I don't know if he's being suspended. You know what? I'm gonna look it up real quick, just because I feel like we should know. But that was all over the fucking news today of that nut tap thing that he did. So
I
it's
didn't hear
like,
anything about that. I'll have to look it up
are
as
you
well.
serious?
Yeah, I didn't
Oh
hear
my
anything.
god! I read like 3 different articles about it. I was like, Jesus Christ!
Same with what's their names getting stuff stolen from their stadium. I never heard anything about that. Ray Rock in the
You
chat
didn't hear
says
about the
what?
Chicago's? That was hilarious.
But even Ray Rock in chat says what? A nut slap. So I guess. Are you sure that's fake news? You guys were talking about my Justin Jefferson trade. Is this
No,
nut
no.
slap
I
real?
was when I got out of work, I was watching First Things First, and that was brought up.
Best NFL show there is, by the way.
That's because you like Nick Wright.
That's my dude. KC native,
Yeah.
baby.
No, I haven't heard anything, so he'll probably be fine. So he's probably going to play. But even if he does play,
Can you check to see how the other guy's nuts are? Do you know the condition in their
I'd rather
nuts?
not. As long as he can procreate, I don't really give a shit. New England, their tight end, Brown, first 2 games, total of 14 offensive snaps, had a lot more play on his game on Sunday. They have been playing a lot more tight end packages. That was evident when Ezekiel Elliott was actually running the ball. But again, Mac Jones behind center, just no, just you watch him throw the ball, and it's like he's throwing it through mud. I mean, the kid has 0 arm strength. And I think in Dallas, after a stunning upset loss to Arizona, I think the Dallas D comes out big, frustrates Mac Jones, stifles the Patriot offense, which they don't have much of to begin with. And I think the Cowboys win this very handedly. I don't know if I like Dallas by 7. I'm going to pick the under, and I don't think Dallas covers, but Dallas wins.
So I just was, you guys were talking, I was looking for this video. I don't see, it's a hard angle to see if he actually hits him in the nuts or not. It looks like he kind of moves his arm in that direction, but because
they interviewed him. He said, yeah, Mac Jones walked by me and said something to the effect like, I don't want you to have any kids or something, and like, whack.
yeah, I don't, but then Sauce Gardner shoved him almost to the ground after that. So I don't know. Whatever. I don't think he's gonna. There doesn't seem to be enough evidence.
Maybe he
to
said,
fine
I
him for
want
that.
to have kids with you, and then grabbed his nuts.
I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. But moving on to the game. I mean, this is one of those games where I think Dallas is going to roll over them. But
Oh, yeah.
I thought they were going to roll over Arizona, and look what happened there. I do think that Dallas will be better prepared, and I think they will beat New England this time. Yeah, they're going to win.
Is Dallas
Defense is too much.
What do you got?
Is Dallas much more better of a team than New England? Most definitely. I just something with New England and this Mac Jones team, the last 2 or 3 years, they're always average, but they always lose the games that they should win, and they always win the games they should lose. So just something tells me they're going to upset Dallas. I don't know how or why or when. Well, I know when. It's going to be this week. So I picked New England. So sound the sirens.
There you go.
Oh, shit.
I've done nothing but pick upsets today, boys.
No, we can tell.
I'm coming back on your asses this week. So yeah, New England.
All right. So the next matchup we got, and this pick better be fucking unanimous. I don't care who the Cardinals beat last week. Cardinals
gonna pick
at
Arizona.
49ers. Can we just ask, can the 49ers actually improve? I mean, I just don't see where there's too many flaws in this game, other than I know I did catch last game they're racking up a lot of penalties. They had 9 penalties last week for 71 yards against the Giants. and are now averaging 9.3 penalties and 71 penalty yards per game. That could come back to haunt you in a critical situation if it's a close game. But it's the fucking Cardinals. I mean, yeah, they're not laying down, but it's still Joshua Dobbs. Do you guys even know who Joshua Dobbs played for before he played for the Cardinals? Just say yes or no. Don't look it up.
No.
Carolina. What's Carolina?
That's a negative.
Oh,
Broncos.
then I don't remember.
Well, again, so obviously, then nobody knows who he is. He was like the third string quarterback for the Steelers for several years.
Oh. I would have never guessed that.
He never played for the Panthers? I thought he played for the Panthers.
He might have. He might have gone to the Panthers after Pittsburgh, but he's with the Cardinals now. I mean, he's playing decently, and their running back isn't playing too bad. I'm trying to remember his name. It's escaping me. But again, it's the Niners. Nick Bosa, Kittle, Bosa. It's just it's ridiculous. So, San Fran is favored by 14. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot. So I'm actually the over/under is 44. I am going to take the Niners. Their defense is so dominant, but I don't think they win by 14. But I am going to take obviously the 49ers for this game.
Yeah, I take the Niners. I give the Cardinals a ton of credit for playing hard and good football, but the Niners are just way too good in all aspects. I don't think the Cardinals have much of a chance here. Niners.
If you watch football, you don't need any of us to tell you why we're picking the San Francisco 49ers against Arizona. I think Arizona got pretty lucky last week. They played Dallas on a bad day, which everyone has. And this is not San Francisco's day to lose. So, San Fran.
Well, this next one's going to be a fucking tough decision to make. We got the Chiefs at the Jets.
Hey.
This is exactly what NBC was hoping for on Sunday Night Football, right?
Oh, let me tell you. So we are going to have to sit through 4 quarters of Zach Wilson doing absolutely nothing. Literally. I think
which is every game.
I think the Jets defense will cause Patrick Mahomes some issues. I think the pass rush is going to be there. We're going to see how badly his ankle was twisted. That'll be on display. We're going to see how mobile he is. But the Chiefs are going to run away with this. To be honest, I'm shocked that the line is KC favored by 9.5. If anything, I think this should have been by 14. So I like the Chiefs and the points. And I like the over. I honestly think the Chiefs are just going to roll over this Jets team badly.
Hey, real quick, Ray Rock wants to know what happened to Kyler Murray. I'm not sure.
Injured.
He's hurt.
Yep, injured.
For the year?
I don't remember what the injury is, but he's out for a while.
I think he's on the temporary injured reserve, so like 4 weeks, and then he's eligible to come back. I don't know what the injury is. I can't remember. But it's not, I don't believe it's supposed to be season ending. So he should be back at some point.
Okay, go ahead, Sturm. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, this takes 2 seconds. The only thing is KC has a tendency to play down to its competition, I think. But they can't play down to the Jets. So they're going to just run away with it. It's going to be a pretty big win for KC. KC.
This is such a hard one for me, guys. I don't know.
Shut up.
As much as I want to hit the siren, I just don't believe in Zach Wilson. No, you hit it on the head, Logan. I think that the defense is going to have Mahomes throwing maybe even 2 interceptions, but I don't
know about that. I don't know about that. He maybe 1 because of Sauce Gardner, but I don't see Patrick. If anything, I think Andy Reid is really going to try to reestablish and continue the momentum of the run game and try to kind of slow up and maybe set up the play action pass against this stout Jets defense. But I mean, again, when Zach Wilson's your quarterback and you can't move the ball against a very improved Chiefs defense, it's just, I mean, I'd be shocked if the Jets score 13 points, to be 100% honest.
Oh, you're giving them too much credit. They'd be shocked if they score 10.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
there's that.
one thing we didn't talk about earlier when we talked about the Chiefs is their defense this year. The ratings came back from PFF or whoever, and they are number 6 total overall defense through 3 games, which we have a long way to go. I agree, but as of today, they're number 6. So they're going to embarrass that offense. Poor Zach Wilson, he might even get hurt because he's going to be running all over the place. George Karlaftis is much improved. Chris Jones, it's just, and then you got these amazing D-backs. He's going to be seeing ghosts. And like I said, I don't want him to get hurt. I could just see something like him somehow, another quarterback coming in. It's going to be a blood bath, and I pick Kansas City.
I will say, I did catch this stat. Your offensive tackle, Jawan Taylor, he was pulled from the game after being penalized twice for lining up in the backfield. That needs to be
No. Did you hear why? Andy Reid spoke on this. What he said? Andy Reid never talks bad about refs, about anyone else, not the teams, anything. He never speaks bad about anyone. He said that it is obvious that one guy is being. They've been studying this on other teams, people doing it, and Reid said that the refs are focusing on this one guy, and so what he did was he pulled him out, and he put someone else in and had that guy do the exact same thing to see if they were just honing in on him, and nothing ever got called, and that other guy. That's what Reid said. So he said they had nothing to do. Maybe he was just covering it up or whatever. But also, if you go see that guy's stats, he might have a lot of penalties, but he has not been allowing any sacks or any pressures on Mahomes. Our offensive line has, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, look up the stat, but Mahomes has not been sacked yet this year. Not once. Which is another interesting fact. So the line is a lot better than what they're talking about. And that guy is improving. I agree. I agree with you that first game, like, what the fuck was he doing? I'm not saying anything about that. Like, he had a reason to be honed in on. But at the same time, no one was really calling it until it mattered. But you are right. Like, the guy needs to clean some shit up. If they're calling you, then just quit doing it, right? Kind of thing. Yeah. I agree completely. But I will say that he's not as bad as everyone thinks he is. He is getting protection. Now, another thing is the other tackle, was it our left tackle, was hurt. I didn't hear anything in the injury report. Reed didn't say anything that, but he was rolling around on the ground, hurt as hell. And that's his left tackle. So if Mahomes doesn't have a left tackle, that's fucking scary as well. And this Jets defense isn't nothing to mess around with, but anyways.
No, the Jets has a pass rush. They do.
Yeah.
I will say the last thing for the Jets, and here's an interesting stat, and this just overall goes to show how good their offense is. The lone star for the Jets team was their punter, Thomas Morstead. He had 8 punts with a gross average of 51 yards per punt. It's a solid game. So that's not saying much when the big star of your game is your punter.
So have them fake punt it every down.
Yeah.
Am I going to punt it or are we not? You never know.
Yeah. So the last game of the slate that we have is Monday night. Seahawks at Giants. Now, again, I think this is another tough pick. I did take some notes. The Seahawks are dealing with like a ridiculous amount of injuries. They were missing 7 starters going into the game and lost 2 more. Cornerback Trey Brown, concussion. Defensive end Vermont Jones. Outside linebacker Darrell Taylor. They still had enough to win the game, but their third down offense is a little tricky. Their third down conversions are not great. As for the Giants, from what I'm hearing, and I just picked up this article earlier today, Saquon Barkley's day to day. There is a possibility he could come back. That would work. That would help. Giants linebacker Mika McFadden. He had 10 tackles the last game, including 4 for a loss against San Francisco. So he's moving. He's sideline to sideline. He's doing what he's got to do. It's at the Giants. They're favored by 1.5. Over under is 47. I think Seattle, with the injuries that they've dealt with, and 2 more they got the longest injury report in the NFL right now. I think Seattle's luck runs out. I do. The Giants have to keep pace in this division with Dallas losing and Washington losing and Philly not looking as good as they were last year. I like the Giants to win this game. So I'm picking the Giants at home.
Is that considered an upset?
No, Giants are favored by 1.5.
Sturm, what do you think, brother?
I think I like the Seahawks in this game. They've just played better, and they've played, I think, more consistent than the Giants have. And the Giants are like 1/2 of football away from being winless. Saquon's been out.
They are too. They really are.
And even if he does come back, he's probably not going to be super effective. Daniel Jones, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith or confidence in the Giants, even at home. I think the Seahawks pull this one out.
Bob, what do you think?
On paper, Seahawks look like they should do it. Something tells me that at home, New York's probably sick of losing. They're not going to lose all their games. I think they're going to pull this one off, so I'm going to go with Giants.
All right. Well, that concludes our picks. So now we're going to go into our last little segment. And something I thought that was kind of interesting and cool to do. We are 3 weeks in. NFL the league is kind of starting to take shape. We're seeing who the real teams are and who the pretenders are. So each of us are going to pick 2 teams right now that we think are just done. We're 3 weeks in. They're done. They're not making the playoffs at all. Probably at this point should be looking for a draft pick. I will go first. And I think my picks are going to be fairly obvious. The first one would be the Denver Broncos. Now, again, my love for, what's his fucking name? Their quarterback? Russell Wilson? Yeah, it's been well documented. I don't think he's that good. I've always thought he was overrated. Pete Carroll will go down in history, in my opinion, as the one coach that called the worst possible play in a Super Bowl you could possibly call. And that's not give the rock to Marshawn Lynch to win the game. Instead, you give it to Russell Wilson, who throws an interception to lose you the Super Bowl. So that tells everyone what you should know about Russell Wilson. He went to Denver. He's not good. His efficiency is terrible. He throws picks. Denver is not a good team. They brought over Sean Payton. It's still not working. They don't have a good relationship. Reports out of Denver that we're hearing. So the first team I'm going to pick is the Denver Broncos. They are not making the playoffs. I would be shocked if they got 4 wins out of the season. Shit, I'd be shocked if they got 3. So Denver Broncos are my first. And the second, to be honest, and I picked one from the AFC, so I'm going to pick one from the NFC. It's the Carolina Panthers. I think they're still rebuilding. Rookie quarterback is figuring it out. Their offensive line is in tatters. They've given up the most points in their division, 81, compared to pretty stout defenses with the Falcons, the Saints, and the Bucks. But I think the Panthers are dead on arrival. They're not making the playoffs, and they're shooting for a draft pick. Sturm, what do you got for your 2?
I thought for sure you were going to pick Denver and Chicago. So I'm picking Chicago. I don't know if we can pick the same picks or not. I definitely agree with you on Denver.
No, we can, if you have the same line of thinking, no, we can all pick the same team if we want to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I would definitely agree with you on Denver, and if Carolina was definitely a contender as well, but I'm going with the Bears because they can't do anything right so
Or
far
lock
this
up their
season.
stadium.
Yeah, right. They just can't do a thing right. I mean, Justin Fields, it looks like he is just the latest in a long line of quarterbacks who have gone to Chicago to die, and
Mitch
sadly for him,
Trubisky, Justin
yeah,
Fields.
yeah. And the defense is not playing well. It's a new regime anyway, so I think that they're done. Their season's pretty much over. And then I would pick, and this is a kind of a conditional pick, but the New York Jets. Now, if they do make some kind of trade for a quarterback,
Okay.
that could change. But if they stand pat with Zach Wilson, their season is over.
I like that. A little. We should sound the alarm for that one. That was an upset pick.
Well, do you? Well,
You
let
know
me
what?
ask you guys:
I
if
like
Kyle
the
Wilson
Jets,
is the yeah, if Kyle
but
Wilson's the quarterback, are they making the playoffs? Anyone going to take that
no,
pick there?
no. If they stick
Right.
with Zach Wilson, they're not making the playoffs. Now, you
Yeah.
are right. If they make some sort of blockbuster trade and trade away draft capital, which Jesus Christ, they should not, and go for like a Kirk Cousins,
Especially with the
there's a
Aaron Rodgers debt they're
possibility.
in, they probably can't do that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
But again, yeah, they could make a great trade, but is bringing in a Kirk Cousins or somebody else, is that going to win you the Super Bowl? They banked everything on Aaron Rodgers. So at this point, I think their coach is going to stick with Zach Wilson, lose games, and have more draft capital and just keep their draft picks. That would be the smart move. Their
yeah.
team is so young. Other than Green Bay, they are one of the youngest teams in the NFL. Green Bay, actually, by age average, has the youngest team in the NFL. I think the Jets are close, but I no, that was a good pick. Yeah, yeah, Jets.
Yeah, I like
Bob,
that.
what do you got?
I mean, you guys have picked them all, but I agreed with you. I think Denver's number one. I think Carolina's number two. And if you want to have some like nominations after that, it would be the Bears and then the Cardinals. But I did like the Jets. That was a good one. I just don't see them losing as many as the other four.
All right. Well, that covers it, gentlemen. That definitely that's it. Those are all the games. We covered all week 3 scores. We gave our picks for week 4. Um, real quick, I just wanted to throw this in there just for a few minutes. I know Sturm hasn't had a chance to do a Good Morning Korriban in a while, so I did want to mention. Sturm, did you get Malikos and did you relic him immediately?
I did. I got him to Relic 5, and I actually have been playing with him in my arena with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and then the other two Kylos and Maul. And I can't beat Kenobi, but I can beat, with that team, I can pretty easily beat Jabba and Lord Vader. So it's been fun to play around with.
Mm. I will say since I unlocked Leia, I've been just playing with her in arena that nobody ever
Yeah,
really pays attention to anymore.
right,
But it forced
right.
a lot of players to switch to Jedi Master Kenobi because apparently Lord Vader is not a good counter against Leia.
Is Kenobi the good counter? Are there
Yeah,
any other
yeah.
counters?
Whenever I'm knocked out of the first spot, it's um
Kenobi.
people are changing their teams to Kenobi because well, that's the funny thing. Like Leia will manhandle Kenobi on offense, but on defense, it's I don't know, it's different. But it neutralizes Cat because uh, Leia's lead negates any turn meter removal. So when Kenobi does that one move to give Cat her insta kill, it doesn't
Yeah.
remove her cooldowns. So
Oh, oh. What about do you have her ultimate yet? Leia's
I do.
ultimate?
I did get it.
Okay. Okay.
You kind of have to use that strategically. You don't just want to, like, if you lose a tune or two, um, if the ultimate ability for Leia kills somebody on the opposing team, all of your deceased teammates revive with 100% health and protection and turn meter.
Can that be prevented if they're killed with death mark or any of
No.
the other? No.
Nope. As far as I
Wow.
know, it's not preventable.
Wow.
As far as I know.
Yeah. I'd be curious.
I'm just sitting here over here like I finished my Inquisitors the other day.
No.
Yeah, I'm working on Leia. I just got Nisa. Nisa's almost 7 stars. And Rex is 6 stars. And then Drogon and Scout Ship aren't even fucking farmable yet. It's pissing me off.
I know, and they unlock the event and shit isn't even
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah, that pisses me off a little bit. But whatever. When they get farmable, I'll farm them up. Hopefully they put one in Cantina Energy to make it a quick farm. That's my hope.
They should do one, you would think.
I hope.
Yeah.
So, and I've got all my my Jedi Cal Kestis tunes are 7 star now, and I just need to get Saw to gear 12. He's gear 10, I think. So I'm
My
gonna be ready for
God,
that event.
if they dropped the Cal Kestis event by the end of this month, I'll unlock them, but I ain't got shit to put in them. I'm Zeta
Yeah.
poor. Like I put all 6 Zetas on Leia, and I was only able to put 2 on Malicos. I'm still missing one.
Oh wow. Yeah, I ever since they announced that I've kept a 120 balance. So, and I've been just building off that because I know I'm gonna use them on her as soon as I get her.
Yeah, I had that balance. That's gone now. So all right, folks. Well, that'll do it for the Three Scoundrels NFL podcast for week 4. That is it. Well, no, we talked about week 3. We will be here next week to talk about week 4's games and all the nonsense. And hopefully, there's no more injuries. There's been so many injuries this year. Let's hope everybody gets on the field, plays a good game, plays safely, nobody gets hurt. So I've got nothing left, folks. If you guys want to say goodnight, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm ready to say goodnight, guys. It's been a great podcast. Looking forward to another great week of football. And then next week I'll be here, but the following week, I'm just a reminder, I'm in Vegas for Raiders Packers. I'm super excited for that one. That's going to be amazing. So I maybe I'll be able to in Vegas from the hotel room or from wherever I am on the strip or wherever. I'll get on my phone and call in for like 2 minutes, and hopefully be bragging about a Raiders victory on Monday Night Football. We'll see.
Yeah,
There
man.
you go. We will hold down the fort for you, brother.
Send us some like footage or something, and we'll play it on the show or something. Of the game.
I'll send in
Show
my
us some
pics.
footage of the stadium so we can all look at.
Oh, stadium is so awesome.
You know who lives
Cool
there?
stadium.
You know who owns that place? Patrick Mahomes.
We'll see, buddy. We'll see.
Christ, Bob.
Sturm, what do you think about the guy putting a Chiefs flag underneath it whenever they built it?
Oh, that's bullshit. That never happened.
Yeah, it did, and you know why? Because you guys have not ever beat
Garbage.
us. I love you, buddy. I'm just fucking with you.
2 years. It's been like 2 years, 3 years. It's been open. Come on.
Sick of Chiefs fans already.
All right, I'll leave you alone, man.
All right,
I'll leave
guys.
you alone. But good
All
chill
right,
with you
guys.
guys this week. Good luck with your teams and everything, since none of us are playing each other, and y'all have a good week, all right?
And thank you to myself for throwing out a sub to some random person. I'm just trying to promote the show. So,
Thank you,
All right,
Logan.
take care, guys.
all right, everybody. Good night, folks.
Peace.